Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Basement Radio Arcade Brap Rant. Sorry, I'm starting this podcast a few minutes late than I initially anticipated. Actually, I can't even talk this morning. I've had too much coffee. I'm actually going to have a special guest joining me for about 20 minutes or so. Lord Cogito from the Iron Lord should be jumping in here shortly. I want to get his opinion on some topics. You know what's interesting, guys? This is totally off topic, by the way. Watching the news this morning, and I guess there's a debate over real meat versus fake meat. I don't know if you guys have seen the advertisement for Burger King. These new plant-based hamburger patties. It's not really hamburger meat in the traditional sense of meat from a cow, but it's plant-based, and apparently it's supposed to taste like real beef. And Burger King's actually got into the trend of providing these types of sandwiches. The Impossible Whopper is what it's called. It is plant-based meat, um, and apparently it's supposed to be a little more healthier for you. There are some upsides and downsides in terms of health. It's only a 30-calorie difference if you think of calorie intake, but it's lower in trans fat, cholesterol, but higher in sodium and carbohydrates. So that's, I guess, the trade-off, if you will. But I don't know. I've never tried one, but it's interesting. There's a debate amongst states that regulate food that say that these types of food products should be labeled properly. They shouldn't be called meat at all, or imitation meat, because they are not meat, um, or label themselves in a way that would suggest they're kind of like meat. But anyhow, it's this is interesting. I've never heard this debate. It's totally off topic from anything gaming related, but nevertheless, I still thought I was interested. So what's going on, the almighty Spartan God? Dreadpool's in the house. Um, Speaking of meat, Burger Boy 26 was in the house. Ash and Luca, what's going on? Can you not rant and get that light level up, ho? Ha ha! Luca, my light level's up at like 700 now. I'm creeping up there. Actually, I do need some help. I'm trying to get the Thorn, and there's this mission I have to do on Titan, and I can't do it by myself because I keep getting killed by all the damn what's it called, Hive. So yeah, I'm actually going to be on Destiny shortly after, or probably right after this. Luca's like, you know what, Luca? I'm up for running some Iron Banner though. I was running some Iron Banner yesterday, and I was getting nasty. I was getting nasty in it. Some guy actually sent me a message. Wait until you're 750 to do that mission. Oh, okay. I'll wait to do that then. Um, yeah, Luca, I look. I still need to like learn how to play Gambit. I don't know how to play Gambit. I know you explained it to me the other day, but still doesn't make sense to me. Forte even tried to explain it to me. I'm like, dude, like, okay. I just need to get into a game of Gambit with people that I know so that I'm not getting cursed out because I don't know how to play. But I'm actually going to hop on Destiny shortly after. Um, yeah, Luke, that's actually a great point. Better to wait so I don't have to infuse it. That's it. Yeah, that's a great point. So, the Army Spark God, man, come on, we love Destiny here.
That's right.
Yeah, my man, Lord Cognito. Speaking of Destiny, the islands, man. Let me tell you something.
What's
Always a
good, brother?
pleasure to have you on, man. Or when you said you could jump off a little bit, I was like, yes, yes,
What's going on, Brad, man? Always a pleasure to be back in the basement radio arcade. How are we doing, sir?
dude. I'm doing well, man. You know, I have this love hate relationship with Destiny. I'm loving it right now again.
I know, I know.
It's really weird. It's really weird how that works.
Ebbs and flows, man. Ebbs and flows. You can go from 1 minute to like, oh man, I can't stand what they're doing, and then when they're in pocket, there's nothing better. Like when they're in pocket, and they got all the systems going, and they're listening to the community, and the community's is
Mhm.
excited. It's very hard to beat. It's hard to touch other games, man. It's just that's when Destiny's good, man. Your whole backlog gets mad at you.
Yes, and you know what's interesting is I was playing Gears, and
Mhm.
I know this isn't a fair comparison because they're really two different types of multiplayer games.
Hold on,
But
hold on, hold on, hold on. Luca out here talking crazy.
what is she? Yeah,
He
she.
said, tell that whole Cognito that those PC nerds come back. Listen, Luca. I will be there in September for Shadowkeep. I spoke to the crew. I
Okay.
spoke to the clan. The boy Cognito's doing raids and a lot of the cooperative activities on Xbox. But when I'm on my solo jam and I'm doing my thing, I'll still be rocking PC. But you're gonna see more of me in September with the cross save with Shadowkeep.
All right, no doubt, man. Hey, by
Mhm.
the way, the best box is the PC right now. I'll just leave
Oh
it
yeah.
alone.
Hey, Phil said I can play where I want to play.
Hey, Phil told me he doesn't care if I buy an Xbox or not.
Phil said, hey, that master race is cool for me. So, like Smart God said, yep. So I'm just listening to what Phil told me.
Yeah, and you know what? I need to do some raids, man. I haven't done a raid.
Yes.
You know what? You know what's crazy? I can't. I haven't admitted this live. I've not done a raid in Destiny 2 yet.
All right, here's the thing. This is what I'm gonna tell you to do. This is why it's perfect for you to get back. Shout out to Luca again. Yeah, we got you. We got you on the race. Don't worry about it. Here's the thing, Brad. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the best time to play Destiny in reference to that. Not to raid yet, but to prep. Because
Okay.
Season of Opulence, what they're doing right now that is so good is they have this activity called the Menagerie. And that activity is literally like raid light. If you've
Okay.
never done a raid, but it's not as complex as a raid, but it has mechanics very similar to get you familiarized to how a raid will work. And the fact that you could do it with matchmaking, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's the part that's cool. It's still hard, but simple enough that you could figure out the mechanics without having all this type of
So how do I
communication.
do that? Like, how do I? Because like
Yeah.
Luca mentioned that to me. She's like, you need to do that, but then you have to do like
Yes.
Gambit, and you have to do all this
I
other
got
stuff.
you. I got you.
And
I
I'm
get.
like, I've never played Gambit. Now you
Mhm.
throw me in like Iron Banner. I'm doing Iron Banner right now. Iron Banner
Yeah.
is probably my favorite thing.
Yeah. I love
Oh
Banner. I
my
love
god,
Banner.
Cognito!
So funny. So
I was
funny.
getting, dude, I was getting busy yesterday.
Woo!
I had somebody send me a message on
Uh,
Xbox Live he said, dang. And I'm like, question mark. He's like, you're good. Cause
woo!
I had to, oh my God, that we were playing, the territories
Yeah.
on Iron Banner. Oh my
Mhm.
God. I was sitting
Yes.
there. I was taking on two guys at one time, man. Just headshots.
Wow.
And what I do, like,
Wow.
I think most people like reload. They don't go to their secondary.
Mhm.
I start off with my secondary, which is a void like
Mm.
pulse rifle, right?
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
popping off headshots. And
Mhm.
as soon as I run out, I'm switch right away to
Mm.
my primary, which is the what's it called? The
What you probably what you using?
what am I using? It's a what's a gun called? The
What
single
type
shot
of?
like rifle.
Oh, like
That's
a
not what it's
stick,
called.
like a grenade launcher,
No,
or
no, no. It's a damn, now I
single
want
shot, not a
it's the
shotty.
no scout rifle.
Scout. Okay. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Got
So
you. Mhm.
now I pull out the scout rifle, and that thing's got high impact.
Yes.
You get
Yes.
headshots with that, it's lights out. And that's how I
Mhm.
finish him off. That's why this guy was like, dang, he's like, we was two of us against you. I'm like, nah, dude. I was like, and I'm telling you, and like people would try to shoot me, and I'm crouching, I'm sliding,
Okay.
and then I get melee attacks. I'm like, oh
Okay.
my God.
Listen, man. What's crazy is you're not even using meta stuff. Like you're not even using the sweaty of the sweaty mechanics, right? Like
No.
weapon stuff. So when you get in pocket, it's the same. Like literally, you and Addict are in the same. Because Addict took a little break, and I'm like,
Mhm.
look, you got to come back now because Shadow keeps coming. You got to start prepping. Plus, I said, like, Addict is a raid guy. That's the guy I call when I'm like, yo, we got to get these raids going. And I'm like, look, I know you've been a little disheartened, what I'm saying, with the other seasons, but get that going and try the menagerie. So we just had to get them up to 690 light. Now, the cool thing is if you do the opening invitation quest, the
Mhm.
game gives you 690 gear. These blue, like it gives you all blues that are 690. So you can immediately are at the light level to try the menagerie. And that's what I like that they're doing. They're onboarding people a little bit better. The only thing they got to
Yeah.
work on, they're onboarding people better with light level, but they got to work on explaining how to start the new activities. Because if you're new,
Yeah. That's where
and
I'm at. I don't
yeah,
know what's going on.
exactly. And it's right now, it's all if you look in your inventory, it's all about this thing, the chalice. If you have this thing called the
I
chalice
have the
in
chalice, yeah, and
okay.
it's like, and I don't have. I see like there's like like openings, or you can put stuff into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you just want to focus on the chalice. You want to get those Imperials, and how you get them is basically there's a quest, a little
Flip
envelope. It's like
mode the
invitation.
Imperial.
Yeah,
Right, man.
Imperial. Remember that?
When you said that, I was like, flip mode the
The
Imperial.
Imperial. That was a classic. Shout out to
Oh
Rod
my
Digger.
God. You remember
Shout out
that
to Rod
song?
Digger. Shout out to Rod.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's a
song. Oh my
classic.
God.
Wow, you took it back right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember that joint. Yeah, man. So just it's a matter of doing the invitation quest, and it'll tell you specifically who to talk to, and then what
Okay.
stuff to do. But yeah, we'll get you through. We'll definitely get you
Yeah.
through.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
my only frustration is that I
Mhm.
don't feel like there's a like for me, somebody who's come back who hasn't played Destiny in a long time.
Agreed.
There's not like the obvious roadmap. But hey, Enrique, you need to go here. And you need to
Agreed.
do this next. I'm kind of like
Mhm.
all over the place,
Mhm.
and I just I'm that's the only frustrating part for me.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you what, though, Iron Banner couldn't come at a better time.
Mhm.
I love me some Iron Banner, man. And like I said,
Mhm.
I was getting busy, and when that dude sent me, I'm assuming it was a dude, when he sent me that message, like, dang,
Uh-huh.
like you got some skills. I was like, dude,
Alright.
I don't even play a lot. Like, but you get into a rhythm, and it's
Mhm.
just like, it's nice, man. I tell you,
Yeah.
and it's again, it's not a fair comparison, but I'll tell you what, man, I was
Mhm.
playing Gears, and
Mhm.
I know Lord King's not playing Gears this weekend because
Yeah, because it's
he
a tech demo. He doesn't do betas and tech demos.
no, he doesn't believe in free labor.
No doubt.
I tell you what, Cognito, that might have been his
Mhm.
best rant
Yeah,
ever,
I
when
think
he
Mhm.
said free labor, and he's like, no, I lost my mind. I was crying.
Bro, let me tell you, sometimes like I'll cut up the show and I like the next day I'll
Yeah,
re-listen. And it's always King. King generally is gonna have the highlight of the show, right? So
yeah,
I'm like, all right. And then I'm listening to it. Like I literally almost like I was in tears, laugh. I was like, yo, he's a fool. I was like, this is the funniest rant he's done so far. That's just I think 2019. He's got some classics, but that
yeah.
one, he won. I was like, yo, I said, bro, you gotta re-listen to this. Like this is this you won it with that free lady. He's like, I'm not doing it. Classic,
And
man.
he's like, they don't even thank you. I
But you
was
know
like,
what's funny is, even though I'm laughing, I'm like, he kind of got a point on some level. You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
think about it. I mean,
Mhm.
isn't that what QA testers are for?
Absolutely. He's got a point. He's got a point.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm like
Mhm.
he's like somebody probably thought what he said, like they're in a meeting, they came together and thought, hey, we don't have to pay people, we can get we get people to do this for free.
Well, one thing about King, man, like I said, some people like to call him crazy, he's off the chain, but he believes what he talks about. That's a man of his convictions.
Yes,
So I
yes,
gotta respect it. You know what I'm saying? And he made me really self-evaluate myself. I'm like, yo, he does has a point. There should be some level of now. If they're gonna give me $20 off, I'm not gonna go there. But there should be some level of compensation for that level of testing because we are stress testing that game. We are doing work that in the past would probably be done by other people. Now, my only counter to him would be like, look, for a network test, to pay millions and millions of people, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not financially, responsible. But there could be ways, like he said, where it's like, okay, let's give you some skins, let's give you
yeah.
some
Free
in-game
skin,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they,
yeah.
so that's that part of it, you know what I'm saying? I do understand the sentiment of where he's coming from.
No, I definitely do, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was. You're right, man. When he speaks, man, he speaks like from the heart, man. That's what
Yeah.
I love about him. It's not.
Mhm.
This isn't like anything he's not saying it to be like
Yeah.
controversial or anything. He's saying because he
Because
feels
he
it.
feels it. That's why I like it.
Yeah,
I mean, me and him could be on complete different sides of the
yeah,
spectrum on a topic, but when he said, I gotta listen because I just want to hear his perspective on
yeah.
it. It's great.
No, you guys. I tell you what, man. I love the chemistry you guys have, man. That's what I'm
Thank you,
saying.
brother.
I'm a big fan of the show. You guys know
Thank
that,
you. Thank you, brother.
and I love it, man. That was just classic ILP, man. And I'm glad I was there for it, man. That
I
was the best part. I
know.
was like,
I was
yeah,
like, Boom Rap is here for it. This is awesome.
yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
but no, Cognito, man, thank you again for joining me. I
Yeah,
wanted to
man.
have you on because
Mhm.
there's it's not I would say a very busy news cycle per se right now with
Right.
this time of the year, the industry.
Mhm.
We're post E3, things will probably start picking up a little bit at
Mhm.
Gamescom. But I want to talk about
Mhm.
I like to get your opinion on the crunch. Naughty Dog now. Naughty Dog's the latest
Mm.
developer to have accusations alleged against them of mistreating employees, to people alleging that they've worked 24 hours a day or done 24-hour shifts. I don't know if you saw Colin Moriarty's tweet to that.
I
He's
did
kind of
not. Tell me what he
yeah,
said.
he kind of went out there and was like, come on guys, like 24/7 shifts, like yeah, these that sounds a little outrageous. Basically, to kind of summarize more or less what he's saying is maybe as journalists we should do a little more digging into
Gotcha.
this before putting these outrageous allegations out of working 24/7, contractors being mistreated, because no one's really questioned the fact that some of this information is coming from contractors. So I kind of get his point.
Right.
But it's interesting. I mean, I think in any industry, and so I kind of have a unique perspective because I spent about 11 years in the staffing industry, worked for one of the largest staffing firms, Ronstadt, for about about 6 years. And then went over to their biggest competitor for a couple of years, got out of the industry. But I can tell you though, and having worked with having clients of different shapes and sizes, different industries, having contractors out on site, I can tell you that contractors sometimes get treated like dirt. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I can speak firsthand. I can speak firsthand. I mean, I work in IT, and prior to the jobs, I've done contract work prior. This was years ago. I mean, back in the day, when I was kind of starting my IT career, when I was trying to get going, and your boy needed experience, right? You needed stuff to get on the resume to say, hey, I did this, I did that, kind of thing. So I would do 1-year contract, 2-year contract, 6-month contract.
Hey, Colin, I don't mean to interrupt you, man. I just want to, because I pulled up Colin's tweet.
Yeah, sure,
so
please.
You know what he said? He said 24-hour workdays, question mark, exclamation point. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And like the Rockstar 100-hour work weeks that never happened outside the claim the company's founder made about his own experience one time, I suspect Mari would probably determine that was a lie. Mari's probably, I don't know who that is. I guess it's somebody who wrote a story. He's actually retweeting the article of that PlayStation Lifestyle tweeted out about the 24-hour work days and mistreatment of contractors by Naughty Dog. So, so that was his kind of his.
So basically, he's coming at the validity of the article, the person, the writer. He's basically saying that he finds that hard to believe based on this person who got those sources or the fact that they're contractors. Is that more or less the gist of what Colin's attacking?
I guess. I mean, it sounds like it's a couple things. It's hey, let's verify this a little bit more. Let's I guess what he's saying is, hey, when you have these extraordinary claims, we need a little more evidence than than a few disgruntled contractors. And like I get that, but at the same time,
yeah, but it's hard to come forward with something like that. It's hard to. A lot of the best sources sometimes are from anonymity, right? From guys that have contractors that have worked there. They can tell you what's going on. But continue, Barry. I cut you. You was about to say.
But I was saying, Cox. So you've had that experience of working as a contractor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had any negative experiences. I've done contract work. I've never had any negative experiences. I've actually when I did contract, I was fortunate enough to work for companies that really went out of their way to maybe feel like I was part of the team, not just a contractor. But I have seen it when I had contractors out on assignment or on a contract. They were treated badly. I mean, and they would talk about it, and they would say, "Hey, there's a lot," and they will give you the lay of the land. And I think there's a misconception with contractors. A lot of the times, these contractors, believe it or not, really want to work at this whatever their contract is.
Absolutely, I was just about to say that because again, I know we're talking games industry. I'm talking tech. I can only talk my industry. From my experience, like I said, I did contract work with the intent to work full time. So the thought process is, one, I'm going to build the resume up. Two, if I impress the employer enough, then he's going to want to hold on or extend my contract with the possibility or the hope of being there full time. So my experience with contract work is most people who want to do it love that industry and are trying to get on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got. So now to the point of overworking, yeah, there was times, it was real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you got to come in on the weekend. We're doing this rollout, or hey, this, that, and third. You're gonna have to work these out. That kind of. But again, the mentality is I'm doing this because I want to get on, right? I'm doing this because I'm trying to break through. This is a thing for me. So that's how I kind of look at it. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the game, stuff, I can't question the validity of these guys. You know what I'm saying? But, all I can say from the bits and pieces I've heard, what you're telling me now, what Colin has said, is that I'm always of the firm belief that if you do not want to do something, or no one can force you to do what you don't want to do.
Well, that's the other side of the story too. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to say, when we go to Naughty Dog Crunch Culture, I do believe crunch culture exists. When I'm working, in IT and stuff like that, we have deadlines. We have things, big projects that they're like, look, when usually we hit this, we'll get this email or this thing, and it's like all hands on deck, quote unquote.
I think it's time for you to come clean. You work for Stadia.
I cannot reveal my employer.
I heard big projects. I'm thinking, he works for Google
But
Stadia.
I'm very in tune and work very closely with all various cloud infrastructure companies,
Oh.
multiple ones. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. So I
So
get to
you
deal with
know
these
the
guys.
power of Azure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I said, look, I deal with all these guys, man. All of them, the AWSs, the Googles, the Azure, all these guys I deal with. Again, the consistent thing is, when it comes to working as a contractor, most of it, like I said, is trying to get on. When it comes to working for, as an employee for any of these companies, then the thing is, there is crunch culture. Your boss is going to say, hey, this is what it is for these next six months. We've got to meet this deadline, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is all hands on deck. Weekends, late nights, all that stuff, right? That is expected, even though it's not firmly written, even though it's not explicitly said with detail. They're gonna look at you. There is a thing where it's like a pressure, like, yo, are you getting down or not? And my thought process, again, if you want
Luca
to,
actually just brought that up. A
yeah,
lot of
look.
people cave into peer pressure. It's human nature. That's a great point, Luca.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
people, I've seen it on both sides, of people like, yo, fam, like, I got a wife and kids. I got this I gotta do. I'm not missing, such and such as my daughter's graduation. Like, people, like, some people put their foot down and say, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. And sometimes they suffer the consequences. Then there's other times where people kind of like, strap their boots up and like, yo, this is going to be just for a short period of time. We get through this period, then it's kind of smooth sailing.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess the game releases and then, boom, boom. So I understand both sides. In my opinion, it's a personal choice. You know what I'm saying? It's a personal choice to what your goals is, what your mindset. As far as is it right? Absolutely not. I mean, who says it's right, the right thing to do? But it is something that kind of comes with the territory based on what I've seen. But what's your thought on it? Like, right?
It's interesting. It's so it's funny. Like I've noticed this trend with gaming journalism more recently, and I just compare and contrast it to like reading Game Pro and EGM back in the days where
Yes, sir.
I feel like gaming journalism, like gaming, has evolved. I think it's evolved because of how big the industry's gotten since we started gaming. I mean, it's probably what it's got to be at least 3 times as big as it was when we were, when we started gaming. And and I think because of the growth of the gaming industry and it being this, rivaling things like movies now, that I think gaming journalists are starting to ask maybe not tough questions, but maybe think about things in a way that they may have not thought about, 20, 30 years ago in the industry. And what I mean by that is, like, Kotaku wrote an article about, hey, this generation's getting ready to wrap up. But even with that being said, and all the great games that have come out, there's some issues that have come up. And one of them that they talked about was the issue of mistreatment of employees, the allegations of harassment in the workplace. We know about that Rockstar VP who sexually harassed a fellow employee at at a happy hour and stuff,
Right.
and then things like that, and then
Mhm.
does the gaming industry need to have
Mhm.
a union? Does it need to unionize so that we're protecting
Right, right,
the
right, right.
rights of developers? Are they being
Mhm,
paid fairly? You know,
mhm,
and if it's interesting, it's like I don't think we would have had that kind of discussion
mhm.
20 years ago.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
but I think it's a result of the industry is generating billions and billions of
Mhm,
dollars, man. And
mhm,
I think when you're in that kind of in that arena where
mhm,
money's being generated like that, billions,
mhm.
billions and billions is a lot of money. I mean, right?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, so when you're generating that kind of revenue, I think that level of pressure, and like you talked about, and coming together and trying to meet deadlines, and now you're dealing with situations where you have companies that are publicly traded.
Mhm,
I'm not surprised that you have um these issues, where
mhm,
these things have to come up, where you're having these people work long hours because of so much pressure to meet expectations and meet you said that you told
mhm,
your investors you're gonna that your Q2 earnings are going to be this high, and
mhm.
now you need to meet that, or else your stock's in trouble, which means your job's in trouble. So there's all
Exactly.
that pressure now.
Absolutely. The pressure exists. No one's saying it's not. It's definitely there. And yeah, I mean, I'm not usually when I hear these kind of stories, I'm not surprised. The only I like Colin a lot. The only nitpick I would say in reference to, like I said, like he's kind of the vibe I get based on what you're saying, it seems like he is questioning, what I'm saying, these sources or these few contractors or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people, because they still want to get in the industry, they're not gonna come out on a podium and say, hey, company B did this or whatever, whatever. But if you look at a cases like a Jason Schreier, right? Some of the best stories is all done by investigative reporting, by getting those anonymous sources. Like, not to blow up his spot or anything, but because Jason's my man, but like I was at E3 and I'm sitting there, normal conversation, just eating whatever, whatever. Jason's there with whatever. And he's talking to, I can't say who it is, but someone who worked for a prominent studio. And we're just sitting there having lunch, whatever, whatever. And, I just happen to be sitting in their area and I'm listening and I'm like, he's getting the school. And these guys are talking, they're disgruntled. They're talking about how upset they are with certain, publishers, certain developer. And this is what's going on. And then, Chase is like, hey, would you be willing to say, anonymous?
Wow.
Dude, that's how these stories come out, bro. I was literally
Wow.
at E3 getting lunch. Jason Schreier is to my right, and he's getting this information from a disgruntled person who works for a development studio, and the person's very upset. They're very upset about the culture of what's going on. That's how these stories happen.
I will say this, my experience, and
Mhm,
just this is just what I've seen just in
mhm,
my time in the staffing industry.
mhm,
Um, I think that what I've seen is that
mhm.
people don't mind working their asses off.
Yeah.
What they don't like is when they work their asses off and then you
Mhm,
mistreat them, or you don't value the
mhm.
work they're doing.
Right.
People want to feel like they're valued.
Absolutely.
And especially with a lot of the younger generation of workers, millennials now,
Mhm,
they want to feel valued. They want to have a lot of input. They want to have a high
mhm,
level of engagement. Um,
mhm.
and so I don't think that's an issue of hard work at times. I think a lot of these people are obviously in this industry because they love what they do, right?
Right.
But I think if they're putting in those hours and they're
Mhm,
not being valued
mhm,
as employees, or their
mhm,
work's not appreciated, because
mhm.
I have seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen attitudes. I've
Mhm,
had CFOs tell me, "Hey, well, if my accounting department doesn't like the fact that
mhm,
they have to come in,
mhm,
New Year's Eve because we got to meet deadlines, we got to get
mhm.
year end wrapped up. They can go find a job somewhere else." I'm like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, like that's not
Yeah.
the right attitude to have. Like, seriously,
Yeah, it's real.
how you gonna treat people like that?
It's
These
real.
people, you taking time away from them spending time with their families.
Mhm,
And a lot of the people would tell me, a lot of the managers, reporting managers would say, "Hey,
mhm,
you know, um, I love what I do, but I
mhm.
don't love what I do here with this company because
Right.
they don't value the work that we do. They
That's
don't
important.
respect they don't
That's
respect the
important.
fact that we have families and stuff." So,
Mhm.
um, it's
No, it's a good
interesting,
point.
man. Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're gonna hear, and I wouldn't discredit. I think
Mhm,
Lucas said this too, in the live chat. I wouldn't discredit necessarily, like, to Colin's point.
Mhm.
this is where I disagree with him. I don't think
Mhm.
it's discredit contractors per se, because
Mhm.
my experience is contractors, they want to be there most of, like, 90% of the time
Right.
they want to be there
Mhm.
because they want to get their foot in the door.
Mhm.
But contractors will give you a
Yes.
lot of insight to what's going on in the company, because
Right.
they're kind of
Absolutely.
they're kind of like that observer, kind of just
Mhm.
observing everything.
Yes.
They're not saying much. They're
Mhm.
there to work, but they're paying attention.
Right, and here's the difference is that's a great point, Brad. I mean, like you said, because the contractors have access to everything, but they're outside observer, they're looking. But also, if it's multiple contractors, if it's multiple people saying anything, then it kind of gets me to raise my eyebrow. Because you always could have, yes, one disgruntled guy for whatever reason he feel away. Okay, fine. But if you're getting multiple people coming forward about the same kind of thing, then it makes me cause for pause and say, all right, let's see what's going on here. Say like, what's really going on behind the scenes. So
I'm telling you, it's fascinating to me that we're having people talk about this with the gaming industry,
yes.
because it's a fairly new topic. I don't think we heard about this last console gen.
Hmm.
But I don't think I think it's because of, again, because of how much the industry has grown, and now it has more eyes on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so you have people who are obviously disgruntled because they're working their butts off, and maybe they're not being compensated properly. Um, or they're being mistreated.
Hmm.
And nobody wants to, nobody wants to work if they're going to give up. If you're going to ask me to work 24-hour shifts,
Hmm.
I don't think it's unrealistic for someone to say I need to be fairly compensated for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree, man.
You
Hmm.
know. So this is good. This is interesting, and I'm sure it's not just Naughty Dog. Obviously we heard
Oh
about
yeah.
Activision. I'm
Hmm.
sure there's other studios where this is happening.
Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
and like you said, you've seen this as a contractor.
Oh yeah, firsthand.
Yeah.
Firsthand. I've seen this. I've experienced. I've been on both sides of it, and it definitely exists.
Yeah,
You
Luca
know.
brings up something interesting in the live chat, and I think this goes
Hmm.
back to what you said earlier, kind of this all hands on deck mentality.
Hmm.
She's like, plus, is it like this stuff is outlined in the job description
Hmm.
before they're hired? It's interesting. I don't think crunch is, and
No,
in,
it's
in
not.
my in my experience
It's not.
with
Hmm.
companies, this all hands on deck mentality is never really advertised. It's kind of like you you put in the extra work, even if it's not in your job description, because you're a team player, and that's the expectation. That's like that unspoken expectation that I think companies have. All right, so Lucas says, my old job, they had us doing stuff not in my job description. Also, the fact that we were being overworked. um Talis
Yeah,
says,
I'm
all right,
back, bro.
all
Yeah,
right,
no,
man.
I agree. Not to cut you. Yeah, I do agree. It's not explicitly written, but it is expected.
Yeah,
It is expected. Mhm.
it's kind of like you're a team player,
Yeah.
and I get that, man. Like, there was times, I was working for a development company that actually is the company that's developing HQ2 for Amazon in
Oh, wow.
Virginia.
Yes.
And it was an all hands on deck mentality, man. Like, I'd be up till, like, midnight sometimes. Not
Mhm.
up till midnight, but there was times where email will come through like at midnight. I have to reply. you know,
Yeah.
and I'm just a guy that's filling positions internally. So,
Mhm.
I'm talent acquisition. So I was,
Mhm.
I'm not the person that's working on these projects, these development projects.
Right.
But still, even then, I mean, like, that's kind of like the unspoken expectation that,
Mm.
hey, Enrique, if we send you a email, at 11 o'clock, we would like we would like a response, but it's more of like we expect a response.
Shit, no, literally is what you said. Again, when you go, like, to Luca's point, when you go before you apply for the interview and you look at the job description, none of that's there, right? But when you go to the interview, right? And some people will say, like, hey, when we have these type of projects or when we
Mhm.
have these type of conditions, it is kind of, expected, like, for guys to, all hands on deck, or, it may involve long hours,
Yeah,
and this will happen. Or some people say, hey, are you okay with it? Now some people are transparent and will say that. I've been in other situations where they don't say it. And like you said, you'll get that email, right? And it's like, please respond. It'll be like 2 in the morning. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, right.
it'll be 12 at night. We needed to, please comply. Do you, and it's, you get that header. It's bold. You got a explanation point. It is real. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you at that point. You've got a decision to make whether or not you answer that email or answer that call or whatever it may be. And that, unfortunately, whether it's fair or not, they're going to judge you by that. They're
Yeah, no,
going to judge you. Mhm,
they definitely are. And I think especially as a contract, I think contractors
mhm.
at times unfairly have an
Right.
extra set of eyes on them, and I think the
Mhm.
pressure and the expectation is even raised higher on these contractors. Because
Right.
I've seen that where I've had clients that nitpick at every little thing a
Oh,
contractor does, and I'm like, "Do you nitpick like this with your employees?" And
exactly.
they've said, "Well,
Mhm.
well, why are you treating them differently if they're contractors?"
Mhm. Yes, it's real. It's real. And maybe, I'm looking at shout out to Chief Tommy in there. I'm looking up like maybe this is a point where, because the industry is making so much money and because the growth is tremendous, and now you're seeing more and more of these stories coming out or whatever. Maybe it's to the point, where this kind of gets the ball rolling for unionization. You know what I mean? So I know that's something that a lot of people have talked about. There's a lot of people feel very strongly about it. You know what I'm saying? And it will be interesting to see if that day ever happens in this industry. And people are afforded those kind of protections of a union. Back in the day, I did work at a job. Now I was in a union, and it's just
Mhm.
tremendous benefits. Tremendous benefits. It's tremendous benefits of being, protected. It's
Yeah.
tremendous benefits of being not fired. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you're given kind of like a fighting chance, so to speak. So I've been on all sides of the spectrum: corporate, union, contract, trying to get on part-time, full-time. My journey kind of had me take a whole bunch of different jobs before I got to where I am now. But it's interesting to see if this might be the Kickstarter, so to speak, the jumping point of unionization in video games.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to happen. David Jaffe talked about it too, and I forget what he said. I don't know if he was pro union.
Mhm.
I thought maybe he said it might be a good idea.
Right.
People are being mistreated. My biggest thing is, are these people being compensated? That's the big
Yes.
thing too. I mean, I watched a documentary the other day on not to get political, but on
Mhm.
undocumented workers,
Right.
working at farms in the U.S. and then not being
Mhm.
paid and being
Right.
told, "Hey, we're not going to pay you because
Mhm.
if you cause a stink about this, we're going to
Mhm.
deport you." Or so,
Uh,
like stuff like that. It's not like
mhm.
that. That's these people need to be compensated.
Mhm.
If they're doing extra work, I think
Mhm.
in the gaming industry, and I think that's fair. I think we would all agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to kind of dive into a little more of Colin's tweet for
Sure.
context here,
Sure.
Cogito.
Sure. Please
He
do.
does say, "I'm sorry, but some of these wild claims need to be curated with a bit more scrutiny.
Mhm.
It's worth noting that the source story cites anonymous QA contractors who aren't employees and are complaining about working too much in an
Mhm.
environment that explicitly tells them not to."
Mhm.
Now, I think
Mm.
this goes back to what you and I were saying.
Mhm.
That might not be in the job description. But
Yeah.
that mentality, all hands on
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah.
So I get what Colin's saying, but I think Colin's also speaking from a point of view where he doesn't know either. Like
Mhm.
I've seen that. I've
Mhm.
had those conversations with employers. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not in the job description, but we expect our employees to go outside of the job description for the benefit of the company.
Mhm.
And if you
Yeah.
don't, it's frowned upon.
It's absolutely true. And then I'm gonna be controversial a little bit here, but we also have to look at everything in context, right? We have to look
Mhm.
at the entire big picture of this situation, right? And we've heard stories like this in the past with other studios, right? So let's keep it real, right? Naughty Dog is beloved, right? They have some fantastic franchises, right? So I think a lot of it too, you have to look at is that people may be, question more because it's their beloved studio, right? So
Mm.
especially, let's be real, like this is for the most part, Sony exclusive. I'm not trying to do
Mm.
console, well, I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm just trying to say is that, you
Are
know,
you saying that people are defending Naughty Dog because they're fans of
listen,
The
all
Last
I'm
of
listen.
Us?
All right, let me throw myself into the fire, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
be complete. You know how much I love Bungie.
No, I know,
I
man.
know it. I wear Bungie on my sleeve. I go to events. I go to comic. I do all this
Yeah.
stuff, right? Bungie's definitely one of my favorites. There's no question, right? So if this same story came out towards Bungie, something that is beloved by me. Destiny's one of my favorite games. Y'all all know this, right?
Mhm.
So, of course, human nature is going to say, well, let me get to the bottom of this first. We're going to see who these dudes, like that. That's the first thing that's going to come out my mind. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And then as more information comes out, and if it's more readily apparent, then yes, I will eventually acquiesce and say, yo, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if I love them or not. But my first reaction, just because we all inherently have some form of bias, you know what I'm saying, in terms of things that we like. So I'm going to be like, nah, fam, you going to have to show me, evidence, specific, substantial, that kind of thing. And that's the thing we have to be a little wary of when it comes to, again, the source and who it's about. Because some people, and we've talked about this with game studios, right?
Uh-huh.
Some game studios, whether we like it or not, they have what I call it's like an investment. It's like when a studio continues to produce good games and continues to do great things, they have this level of credit
I have
that
carte blanche.
there you go. That is allowed, so Luca's chomping at the bit. She wasn't getting
Yeah, I got her. I got her.
so it's like that are allowed a certain level, more than others because they've built up this reputation. I mean, at one point,
Not
Bethesda
my
had,
Naughty Dog. No way.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Naughty Dog is one of them, dude. They're one of them studios. They are tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an interesting point. You know what I'm saying? But I'm done.
And it's Colin speaking from the point of view because if access that he has to the studio and maybe
Mhm.
people that he knows works there, maybe he has an insight
Mm-hmm.
that we're not aware of.
And let's be real, like Colin, his preference is PlayStation. There's no doubt about it. Like I love Colin. Like Colin says stuff that even sometimes I disagree and I'll listen to. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's a point here. But there's no doubt as far as what he likes is PlayStation. He's always been. He did that podcast. He used to do it with this guy with Kind of
Greg
Funny,
Miller.
Greg Miller. These PlayStation trenches. It's all good. I don't care about what side of the fence you're
Yeah.
on. But again, I want to see more people get a hold of the story. If more people disparage it and more people, they come to find out that, hey, it was just one guy that said it, and that's different. You know what I'm saying? But if multiple people and, things starts to get leg, hey, sometimes change is
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's that saying where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
But we
Mhm.
we also know, as you know, Cognito.
Yes, sir.
I've seen some of the organizations that that are to have great work life cultures, and you have disgruntled people. I think
Mhm.
you're always going to have disgruntled employees anywhere.
Yes, sir.
And so then maybe the question is, are these
Mhm.
that group? The disgruntled employees.
Mhm.
Um, or
Mhm.
is it really like that? I think the first sign of a troubled work culture is high turnover. And so
Mhm.
if you see an organization that's high turnover, they're constantly posting the same jobs, that's never a good sign. Never a
Mhm.
good sign. Or they have
Yeah.
consistent changes on top in
Yep.
terms of leadership.
Mhm.
I don't, it sometimes, look, man, sometimes
Mhm.
I've seen this. Sometimes those companies that are making a lot of money, they have unhealthy cultures, man. It's like that
Mhm.
cutthroat mentality.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
let's face it, for some people, um, it just doesn't work for them, and some
Mhm.
people are okay with that. Like I'm not okay with working in a culture that doesn't value employees. Like I've been there. Like
Mhm.
I've worked for,
Mhm.
what's up, Luca?
The
Hi.
Luca D. Ashen. What's going
Ash and
on?
Lucas
Everyone.
joined us.
Yes, she
what's
has.
what's
All right,
going
so
on?
I want to get into this.
Let's
Now,
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
when I saw that this was like going around on Twitter, I was like, okay, this is going to be the same thing as it was with Red Dead. People are going to be like,
Mhm.
it doesn't affect me. I don't care.
Right.
They're complaining too much. Like, listen, the fact of the matter is people seem to not understand that there is actually zero correlation with acknowledging that something's fucked up and
Mhm.
then still enjoying the game.
There you
Like
go.
there's zero correlation
Facts.
with that. And I
Facts.
see people saying, well, I don't care because I'm still gonna fight the game. And as
Mhm.
long as I get my game, I don't fucking care. Okay. I'm like, nobody cares that you don't care, Peter. All right. Nobody cares that you don't care. You can acknowledge that it's a screwed up situation because as human beings, you would think that you would have some level of empathy for someone in a tight spot. Now, listen, I see people saying, well, I work 12 days a week, 80 hours a day, kind of bullshit. Like, clearly, I'm using hyperbole, right? I'm just kind of like, and they're like, I don't complain. I'm fine with it. Like, it has been well documented that at least Americans do not get an adequate amount of sleep. We're all sleep deprived, angry, and resigned. That is who we are, and unhealthy, 100%. That is who we are as a people. This is the kind of culture that we cultivate, and it's not actually good for us or healthy. Just because you are resigned to the fact that you have to be overworked doesn't mean it's actually okay. And it doesn't mean you should just automatically dismiss what people are saying when they're like, listen, I am overworked and I am fucking tired. You know what? Me personally, as someone who did work, I did a bunch of overtime in my last position. Once there was this one time, and I was working the overnight shift where I had to work from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. Me not getting enough sleep is like something I've been trying to work on for years now, and I still don't get enough sleep. And it's still one of the things that actively and negatively affects my health. And people seem to be under this delusion that they can survive off 5 hours a night, not seeing their family or friends. Like, I'm sorry, that's actually not okay, nor is it good. Just like I said, just because you are resigned to that fact doesn't mean that it's okay. Now, the only people that I'm like, with are people who are in the military or Marines or any of that stuff. Listen, you guys actively signed up for that kind of lifestyle. You signed up to be shot at and to shoot people and to work for this country like that. That's on you. But someone who works at fucking PetSmart getting overworked, it's not the same thing.
I agree.
It's not you've got that kind of training for that.
I want to kind of one thing though, Luke. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. The thing though I want to say is though, if you are in that situation, right, and you are working in these type of conditions, and they like, yo, you got to be coming in at these type of hours, or they are hinting, inferring that you need to be putting in these level of hours of crunching. At some point, you've got a decision to make. Right?
Absolutely.
At some point, you got to say, am I still going to work this or not? And that's the only thing I say, that not that everybody knows what they're getting into, because I don't feel that's true. Some employers are sneaky about it.
They 100%. Like, listen, I get that. And the thing of it is that peer pressure and that kind of mental pressure is a thing that 100% exists. It's also the fact that people are in these positions and they grow resigned. They don't feel like looking for something else. They grow content with where they are, even if they're not necessarily happy. They can be fucking miserable and they will stay because it's like, the unknown is scarier, and employers take advantage of that. They take advantage of the fact that people are too afraid to speak up and people are too afraid to do something better for themselves. And Enrique, you say it's millennials who are expecting more. I actively 100% disagree with that, because I worked in a position with people who are in my age range, right? And our boss was, and this is an extreme case, but our boss was sexually harassing the girls and no one did anything. And the reason no one did anything is because when they did go and report them, nothing got done about it because these corporations look out for each other. So it's like,
it's that good old boys mentality. Yeah.
You know? And so most people see, and that's why it's like when all this stuff about what was going on in Hollywood came out and everyone was like, why didn't anyone say anything? Why didn't anyone stop this? It's like, okay, well, if I speak up, they're just going to fire me for speaking up. And that's how people see it. And that's how, I mean, it's honestly, it comes down to like a personal thing, you know, like I saw what was happening and I didn't say anything because I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about this situation. But I knew that it was happening, and these girls stayed in this situation despite this happening to them. Like, he left me alone, but like they stayed in the situation despite this happening to him for as long as they could, and then they would quit unexpectedly, and then we would all have to like make up for them not being there. Like, I blame all of this on the employers for overwork. And then there's this other time where it's like not in our job description where we were fucking cleaning vents, cleaning out air conditioners,
vents.
fucking mopping everywhere, mopping the
What?
break room. And it
Mhm.
was just like, well, if you don't like it, then I mean, just do it because I'm your
Right.
boss and you have to do it. And then my old boss as well would send emails to the team leaders
Mhm.
at 10 o'clock at night, 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., expecting an answer. And when he didn't get an answer, he would be upset about it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like no one said anything to anyone because they thought that it was like, well, I just have to deal with this. Only for it to turn out like, no, he absolutely was not supposed to be doing that shit. And you know, the person who told on him was someone who was older. Someone who was like, yeah, I'm not going to just stick around and let this happen. I'm going to report him. And then it was like, oh, he can't do that anymore, you know? And it's like, it's stuff like that. It's the kind of mentality that we are all forced, quote unquote, to accept because it's like, no one wants to put in the effort or the work or the time to find a different position because it's not solid yet. So they will accept these terrible work conditions because they feel like they have to. I, as well, felt pressure to stay and finish projects and continue to work because I was like, okay, my other coworkers are doing this as well. We have to get this done. Our boss expects this. The reason I stopped because I got to a point where I saw that my coworkers weren't doing shit, the lazy fucks. And I was like, yeah, I'm going home. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. I'm not staying. Like everyone, like for me, it took me a very long time to get to a point where I was like, I'm not doing this if something fucked up was happening. But it's like for a lot of people, they don't ever get to that point. They just they deal with it. And I
Some
think
people have the confidence to deal with it.
is probably like one of the worst things ever. And it's like appalling to me that people are so easily and readily able to dismiss this just because they like Naughty Dog and they want to play their games. It's the same thing as when those sexual assault allegations were going on. It's like, well, play the fucking game then, you sociopath. Like, play the game. That's fine. Play the game. Listen, there were fucking allegations going on with CD Projekt Red. I'm still going to play the game, but I can acknowledge like, oh, this is very fucked up because I am a decent human being. So
no, it's two points I want to touch on real quick. Brad, I'll give it to you. The first part of Luca's statement was she was talking about you know, how people are resigned to the fact, right? And there is some truth to that because there are people who, you know, look, they got a job, they've been struggling, you know, to find work, they get an employment, and it's like, yo, I gotta make this pop. I have to, you know, impress this employer. I'm trying to keep this job or whatever. And I do see that. I see a lot of that as well, right? And then, you know, it comes down to as far as like the whole, you know, if I leave, right? If you leave that position, there's this thing with certain industries, not everything, but I'm going to say like, we'll take it to the video game industry where that if you leave and say, hey, you're not willing to do this, or then this, you know, they fire you, they say, hey, you're not complying with what we ask, even though they may not have explicitly said long hours and all this other stuff. And then you are fired. There is a thing as blackballing, right? There is a thing as you know, hey, you know, Cogito's got this reputation, and in smaller industries that could hinder you from getting employment in other places.
100% understand that, but I had a conversation with Slow-Mo about this, and I asked him straight up. I was like,
"Hey guys, real quick, I need to take a call real quick. If you guys can go
for
ahead.
anyway. Go ahead, Luca.
I asked him straight up. I'm like, the people who are qualified for these jobs, can they do other things? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, they chose to go into this industry because they love gaming. However, if they were blacklisted from this industry, would they be able to find positions in other areas in IT and software? And he said, yes. I was like, would they make more money? He said, yes. Would there be more reasonable hours? He said, yes. So as much as I love video games myself, and it's something I considered when I was younger, like, oh, maybe I'll go into this. And then I've been hearing about this shit for years now. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, it sucks. And yeah, you won't be able to make your own games, but you know what? What's more important, making video games or your health?
No doubt. But at the same time, too, as a counterpoint, there are people who their life's passion is to create a game. Like there could be someone that's like, hey, I want to, you know, I speak to developers all the time. They're like, yo, this is what I want to do. Right. So they get in this position. Let's say they're mistreated. Let's say they do speak out. Right. Such and such is touching me or doing something or whatever craziness it is that's happening. And they speak out. Right. there is a thing where, the head of such and such development studio or publishing say, hey, this person's a problem. So, or even almost like a preemptive strike before it happens. And then the word gets spread. That person does the right thing, comes forward, leaves the job or gets fired. And then they're looking for work. And then it's like, nah, fam.
I mean, that is what it is then. They have to come to the decision themselves. What's more important, me doing the job that I love or me being miserable doing the job that I love? And honestly, like I said before, it's not like with other industries. With people who are developers have skills and they can get positions and things outside of gaming.
Right.
So it's just like, and honestly, it really just comes down to how these employers and these big time corporations mistreat people. And they get away with it because the masses and consumers are so willing to give them a pass for everything and to dismiss the claims of the people who actually work for them. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I would definitely be someone who's corporate, and I would definitely be a scumbag in this situation if it meant I was making a lot of money. I understand. Like, I get it. I would listen. I want to be corporate. Let me be corporate, please. Please. Because I feel like I could get ahead because I know exactly what they're doing. And I know how people are. I know human nature. I know people are not going to say anything. I know the people who will say something will get fucking corralled off. So I'm good. Let me be corporate because I certainly don't want to fucking be an employee. Like, I want to be someone who's making these fucked up decisions and getting away with it and making bank. Because at the end of the day, that is what these guys are doing. They are selfish fucks. And I'm with it. I'm like, yes, let me go and be on that side of the fence because I don't want to be on the other side. You either get eaten or you eat the prey, And that's just, and people are willing to be prey because, like I said, it is human nature to just, and it's conditioning based off our society to just accept the terrible situations that we are in because we feel like we don't have a choice, but there is always a choice.
Absolutely. There's
always
a choice. Switching gears, Brad Bay back so we can talk some more. About the whole, what do you feel about the point I made in reference to the whole thing with studios, right? Which is, that certain studios, in my opinion, I feel have that level of cachet, as Brad said, right? That based on the quality of the games that they produce, you know what I'm saying? That these are beloved games. You got games like The Last of Us and Uncharted, and you know what I'm saying? There's certain studios that have that kind of reputation that when they drop a game, even if they were subject to some type of personal criticism behind the scenes with the studio, that they would more likely be able to survive it or quote unquote given a pass as opposed to
I'm back.
smaller studio. Like where you at with that, Luca? Do you think that exists?
Absolutely. That is absolutely the case. Like, if you have good PR and a good product, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, okay, yeah, I might have been sexually harassing this girl, but my game is popping, so y'all gonna let it go though, right?
We're gonna let the touch it go.
We're gonna let it go. We don't believe that whore anyway, or we don't believe that guy who. First of all, another thing is, when I hear about like sexual harassment claims and it's a guy who's speaking up, I feel even more inclined to believe him because men do not typically speak up about that kind of thing.
I've been sexually harassed at work. I can tell you guys. I know. Hey, no, I'm not even like I had.
My bad.
I had somebody grab me physically.
Wow.
A coworker of mine. I'm like, what are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah. She was a little aggressive.
And it's even more if it's like a woman assaulting a man because other men's instinct is, and like, women too, is like, well, I mean, you probably liked it though, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I wish they would say some dumb shit. Like, I wish I would get assaulted by a hot chick. And I'm like, listen, I don't know about all that, guys. Like, and it's like a dismissal sort of thing. But I believe, just like with like the sexual assault allegations with Naughty Dog, those weirdo allegations with the dudes who do Detroit. There was allegations against CD Projekt Red for being either overworking people or being transphobic. Something I don't fucking know.
Transphobic,
and it's just like we are just like it's whatever. I like their game, so I don't care. I
Mhm.
don't work there, so I don't care. I'm not in that situation, so I don't care.
Right.
Basic level of empathy, nah, couldn't be me. But let me expect people to care about me and my issues and my plight and my situation because I don't, even though I don't care about others. Like, it's that kind of thing. So it's just like, I do believe that if you have a good backing and a good public relationship and a good product, you can get away with whatever you fucking want. Like,
Cogito and I talked about that earlier.
we
We said
that's what I
you
brought
have a
up.
certain level of carte blanche. I mean, you
Yeah.
do. You have political capital. I mean, you see that in all facets of life. I mean, not to get into politics, but we see it with politicians all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I mean,
would love to be a politician. That is like right there. Because I was telling Cognito that if I was in any of this situation, I would want to be corporate because corporate are scumbags and I'm trying to make bank. Like 100%. If I wish I could be a politician because if I was a politician, I'd probably be a fucking scumbag. Like legitimately. Like you're like legit. I'm like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do and like balance that line between legal and illegal. And I'm going to make the money that I got to make because I'm certainly not going to be a fucking patsy and get taken advantage of. I'm not going to be on that end of the spectrum. Okay. But it's like, people are just fucking scumbags. They are trash and they are willing to accept things and take advantage of people and do whatever because they know that they can spin it and they know that people are like, you know what? I like your product. So I'm gonna let it go. Like
I think that's why it's important for guys like Jason Schreier to bring these stories up, though, because I think it gives people some insight and things that are going on, and we can choose based on that information. You can decide how you choose to feel about it. But I think talking about this thing is helping. I agree. Like I've seen. It's funny. Like always, me and my whole media soapbox.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't say.
I always, hear people, I want, gaming journalists to stick to journalism. But then when a guy like Jason Schreier does great investigative journalism, it's like he's crucified for it,
Well, actually, I disagree. I think Jason Schreier is well respected in the industry by a lot of people. I respect him for his work. I mean, I think he says and does a lot of fuck shit as well. But it also
he says some things that are controversial.
I don't always agree with everything he says, but
it also goes into because the fact that he is so well respected, he can do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants, and people will let it go. Like, okay, I'm going to use myself as an example. I got into an argument like a few months ago. And I was in the wrong 100%. I said some fucked up shit and I was awful. And I was like, you guys know I act like a nut job most of the time, but I was acting up like hardcore and I was doing the most. And I came off as like an idiot and all that stuff. And after it happened, I was like, I don't know why I did that. And I apologized. But I had people coming to me saying, Luca, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever. I still respect you. I still support you. I don't even care that you did that shit. I support you, Luca. No matter what, I support you. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate you supporting me, but I definitely was in the wrong here. And it's like, no, Luca, fuck them. It's fine. I don't care. Like,
there's that cash.
Right? I'm telling you, man, it's like if people like you enough, you can get away with fucking anything.
That is true.
Just anything, no matter how awful and morally depraved it is, you can get away with these things. And that is what these corporations are banking on. Naughty Dog is hugely beloved. Hugely beloved. Now, if these allegations were coming out from fucking EA,
difference. Yeah, it would definitely be a different
Activision, Bethesda.
Well, I mean, they were. I mean, with was it Sledgehammer? Who was it? Or Treyarch? Who's the developer behind Black Ops? I can't remember.
I think it's Switch.
Sledgehammer.
I forget Black Ops is. Yeah, I forget. I think it's.
Treyarch.
Yeah, it was. That was a more recent one up until the Naughty Dog allegations of.
Yeah, I didn't even see too much about that, to be honest.
Yeah,
like
the QA testers saying that they were being mistreated.
Yeah, and that's not the first time I've heard about QA testers being mistreated because it's like, even though I feel like arguably they probably do one of the most important aspects of the job.
Absolutely,
these developers are just kind of like, or these publishers are like, well, we can just put the game out and then fix it later. That's the kind of mentality that they have. So they mistreat the QA testers. Like, I believe that. I think it's a fucked up industry in general. And I think there's a lot of fuck shit that goes on as per any corporation or any industry that makes billions of dollars. There is going to be a lot of fuck shit.
I said that earlier too.
Are just going to accept it because it's like, well, I really like this product. Like I said, if CD Projekt Red was accused of any more like if something like crunch or sexual harassment or any of that stuff, I would be out there saying this is fucking awful. This is bad. Like this is bad. Like, you know, but it's like, yeah, I'm still gonna buy the game. Like, okay, but it's not mutually exclusive, you know? You can acknowledge that something is bad and still buy the game.
And but it comes down to that whole fundamental thing is like, does the mistake of one particular entity or one person discredit the entire work of the studio?
No, it doesn't.
You know, exactly. So you've got, again, and that's a personal choice. I really, at that point, you know what I'm saying? I really, you know, can't fault anyone either way if they, you know, some people say, hey, look, I don't support what's going on over there. So as a result of this, I am not buying a product. Fine.
Oh, by the way, you can't boycott something you weren't going to buy in the first place. Like, that's something to put out too. Because I see dudes who I know for a fact do not like a game studio, and they're just like, well, they're doing this, so I'm not going to buy the game. You weren't going to buy their game anyway, Stuart. Stop it.
We see that. Oh, I see that a lot. Of like, you know, you are going to buy it. Stop lying. Stop
it. Like, a good example would be me saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to wait on the next Elder Scrolls games because I'm kind of side-eyeing. Not even kind of. I'm side-eyeing.
A good example would be you on Switch products.
Oh, my God.
So the controversy came out on Switch, and then she's like, yeah, I'm not going to buy. I'm like, Luca, you know damn well.
No, damn well. I was not getting it anyway. But I brought up Elder Scrolls is because I'm a huge Bethesda fan. So me saying I'm going to wait on their product actually means something because I was going to buy it regardless. But me saying, well, I'm not going to support the Switch. Bitch, you weren't supporting the Switch anyway. Stop it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to come out with my exposed video, Luca.
Hey, real quick, Luca, you said something earlier like that I kind of want to go back to, be quick backtrack and kind of get your opinions on this. You mentioned that, you know, developers release games broken and they're like, you know, we can fix it later on down the road. We can patch that shit later on down the road. Is that just a byproduct of us as gamers, as consumers, just being okay with it and saying, you know what, we'll take it. We'll take games that don't have content and games that are buggy as shit. And
will only do what you allow them to do to you. Yeah, that is a fundamental truth of this world.
That's it.
If you allow it, they will do it, which is why Bethesda has been releasing broken games for decades. And it's like, okay, well, everyone, it's like a part of their quirk, part of their charm. Bethesda, they're so, you know, their games are still so amazing though, until they finally got to a point where people are like, what?
Chief told me Savage in live chat says, is that a Todd Howard quote?
like literally though, like they will continue doing whatever it is that you allow them to do. So they will continue releasing broken, buggy messes of games because there's fucking idiots out there that defend it. Like the amount of people where like broken games are like my biggest point of contention when it comes to being in this community. Like if a game is buggy and broken, best believe I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, yelling, pissed as fuck. And then there's always gonna be some idiot. Well, I mean, like that's what they sound like. Okay, that is what they sound like to me. Fucking gibberish.
Oh my God, Luca, you need to do like Luca, you need to do weekly rants. You really need to, seriously. Because I get what you're saying, like with that whole. Because I was on ILP with Anchorman. Remember that dog about Fallout 76, and it drove me nuts. I'm like, yo, how can you defend a buggy game? I understand being a fan of Fallout, but come on, like this is getting ridiculous.
Something and still acknowledge that it's fucked up. Like it doesn't
exactly.
It does not require your blind loyalty. That is what it's called. That's what being a sheep is called. Okay, a sheep. All right, a sheep for these corporations. Someone who will bend over and take it in the fountain. All right, for these corporations, you have a voice as a consumer. You can speak up. You can speak with your wallet. Be like, listen, I'm not going to buy this. You know what? Unless it's something that I'm like, I have actively been known for supporting. If I'm not going to buy a product because of some fuck shit, I'm not saying anything about it. I'm not going to make like a huge big deal or a big post about it. The only time I would if it was like CD Projekt Red or Bethesda. Those are the only two where you know, BioWare, I'm kind of side-eyeing them right now, to be perfectly honest. Like, to be perfectly honest, I am side-eyeing them. But it's like, you don't have to say anything at all, really. Like, you don't have to make a big deal about anything at all. But, like, if a game is a fucking mess, I will be the first person there saying something because that shit is unacceptable. Like, you go out there, you spend your hard-earned money on a broken
Yeah.
product, and that's
$60.
okay with you. And that shit
$60.
is
No.
it doesn't even matter how much money you're actually spending. It's the fact that you're spending money at all. Like it's like I see the whole Game Pass effect now. Where people are like, well, it's only $10, it's only $1. Like State of Decay 2. I got State of Decay 2, the Ultimate Edition, for free. And I was still the first one, like, fuck, this shit is broken.
You didn't, but it was fun, Luca.
Was it?
I had fun.
I did like this.
Y'all savage right now.
That rant video was fucking epic. I was in my bag, like I was acting up. It was hilarious, but I was mad. Like I fucking hate broken games. That shit makes me so angry because it's like and you know what? I just hate it. I just really hate it. But you know what? Back to the crunch conversation. I just think it's a really unfortunate situation that we've heard time and time again. I think that people have an inherent lack of empathy towards others because it's like they're like, well, no one cares about me, so I'm not going to care about other people, and I'm going to enjoy my game. And there's nothing you guys can say to make me feel guilty. Why do you feel guilty? Just buy the fucking game and shut the fuck up. Nobody cares that you don't care, Chief. No one. I'm not.
Not
like,
Chief
I'm
Thomas.
saying, not Chief Thomas. Like as in like that kind of that meme. No one cares that you don't care, Chief. Like let it go. Just keep it moving. You can just be like, I don't give a fuck. And nobody cares that you don't care. All right. And if you truly did not care, then you wouldn't say anything about it. Because if I don't care about something, I'm not talking about it. I'm keeping it moving. I'm focusing my energy on other stuff because stuff that I personally care about. But you care enough to get on your fucking bitch ass platform and be like, I'm still supporting the game because I am a stone cold savage who doesn't care about other human beings. And I'm like, okay, and like keep it moving. Like no one cares. Like go on. Like, oh my God.
Or when you have to make an announcement to say, say that I'm not doing this anymore. I completely understand. Look, you got the personal choice, but me personally, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not me. It's not, I don't feel the need to get it on a soapbox necessarily and say I'm not going to do this or I'm not going. I'm just do the action. To me, the action speaks louder than the word. Now, if someone asks me my opinion and says, hey, Cog, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? No doubt, I'm going to give you the work and I'm going to tell you how I feel. But, it's just a different, I guess, I don't know if it's social media culture or whatever.
It's a different sort of energy. And you know what? I see it in every single age range. No one can escape. It's not a generational thing. It is a human.
It's a human thing.
Yeah. People are just complicated and weird, and they can be predictable a lot of the times, but other times it's like, like, what are you even saying right now? You fucking nut job sort of thing. So
oh my God. That is too funny. Luke, are you gonna be talking about this on Scumcast today?
You know what, maybe. I wasn't sure if I was gonna bring it up or not because like I said, it's an unfortunate situation and I'm not sure who on my panel would disagree with me. I mean, there's probably quite a bit of people because
I know Slow-Mo would agree with you 100%. Slow-Mo is definitely anti-crunch.
Yeah, but I have a couple people who might disagree with me, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like I typically come from a pretty logical point of view and I do try to hear other people's perspectives, but sometimes it's hard for me to understand where people are coming from when it doesn't make any sense logically, to be honest. So we'll have to see how it goes, and we'll see how the conversation on Scumcast goes and see if it gets brought up or if there's a lull or something, because I am definitely anti-crunch. I want to play listen, of course I want to play whatever awesome new game is coming out. But then again, I am a Destiny whore, so I don't know if I even get to it.
I just had that discussion with Brad, and I said, look, we all as gamers have that inherent bias towards something that we're passionate about.
But I'm gonna keep it real for you, Cognito. If Bungie was accused of doing some fuck shit, listen, Bungie pisses me off so much. I'm not defending that corporation.
Listen, I'm gonna have to defend them.
Okay,
I'm gonna be like, hold on. Who's little Jimmy? Where does he live?
Listen,
who said these accusations? I'm gonna have to find out first who the person is and what their credibility is. Now we gonna defend. I'm gonna defend.
Me and you, we can go.
I'm gonna have to defend first.
I love Destiny. I have so many hours in the game. All of my characters are 750. I have actively engaged in the content.
Right.
I will curb stop Bungie verbally any day of the week because they have done fuck shit time and time again. Fuck them kids. I love your product, but your corporate, you guys fucking suck. Can we talk about the bad
Oh my
juju?
goodness.
How that they put that as a resource drain because they knew that
You're supposed to
fuckers.
do the hustle. You're supposed to do the hustle. Come on,
Nah,
you know better than
chief.
that.
Nah,
You're supposed
chief.
to do
I
the
knew
black. You're supposed to do the
exactly
forge. Come
what
on now.
they were doing. They were like, listen, we're gonna put this shit in, and we're gonna have them spend all of their fucking
Yeah.
resources
All
because
the
these fucks cannot help themselves. They are
Yeah.
gonna spend all their resources day fucking one getting this gun that they may not use. I know this.
Wow.
Well, what it is. Let's be real.
That's good to know. I will not be going after that gun now, by the
In
way.
particular, you gonna get that gun. Stop. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. What they realize is Bungie works by statistics, right? So what they realize is coming in this Shadowkeep, people are hoarding shards, materials, planetary material, all this stuff. So I agree. It is definitely a
That's
hustle.
what they're supposed to be doing is hoarding
Yep.
stuff. You know,
It's
like you're supposed to be collecting.
In my opinion, it's definitely a hustle by them.
100%.
To say,
And like,
let's rid them of all this material by putting it behind the
Facts.
beloved gun. I completely agree with you.
and you know what? I love my bad juju.
Mhm.
But
never
it's
liked
not.
that
It's
gun. Not a big fan of it.
It's not 100% amazing. It's fine. You know, for me, what really did it for me was when I like after they did the nerf to
Mhm.
the shards, the Ursas,
Yeah.
the Orpheus rigs, the Phoenix Protocol. I was like, all right. And after that, I just, you know, Bungie broke me and I no longer got angry at them.
Yeah.
But for me, I do these exotic quests week one. I got the Lumina week one. I got Thorn one.
Right.
I got Bad
Nice.
Juju week. I got like Last Word week one. I got all of the exotics week one, right? Outbreak Perfected week one, all of them, right?
Fire.
I don't use Lumina or Thorn ever.
Yeah, I ain't using
Wow.
I don't.
Ever. I'm
I
like,
love the
listen,
thorn.
and the
Thorn is
Thorn
fine, though.
quest was like, I was ready to hang myself. It was so annoying.
That's what I'm doing right now. I want to shoot myself,
Like,
but
it
I
is
love that weapon so much.
Fucking annoying. So I was just like, you know what, Luca? Let's think about this, bitch. Are you gonna use this
Are you
weapon?
gonna use it? Yep. That's the.
If you're not gonna use it, then you can wait. Ho, wait. I was like, all right, ho. I'm gonna wait. I got the Herbalist throughout the weeks.
Yeah, I waited
that
on that
wasn't
one.
that wasn't a week, like 1 week sort of thing. But I waited on the truth, and you know what? I did the Bad Juju quest. Fuck them kids. Fuck them. I did that fucking glitch. I was like, oh, I can get this gun without spending anything. Hell fucking yeah. And they're gonna let me keep the gun. They're taking away my catalyst. You can have my catalyst. 2 extra seconds, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. It's fine. String of curses it's listen, guys. I know you guys hate Destiny. I don't even have to look at the chat to know what they're saying.
Like, did I miss the Phil topic?
But,
no, we haven't got to the Phil topic yet.
Oh, but let's get to Phil real quick before, because I gotta go get my hair done. So let's get.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got to get that done before Scumcast.
Yeah. So what did Phil say?
So Phil was back out in the news again, and he did a sit down interview with Fortune magazine where he admits that Microsoft's first party output has been weak this console generation. Again, Phil's out there preaching, talking about first party, and he says, "I think the power of content. I see it every day. The things that people come to Xbox. Very few people turn on their Xbox to stare at the dashboard. Thought that was kind of funny. People turn on their Xbox to go play games, and I think us having a strong first party Xbox means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do here. We haven't done our best work over the last few years with our first party output." So. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, with his comment there. I only bring this up because I feel like Phil's been saying this for the last couple of years now. And do you guys, I guess my question is, do you guys think that at this point you should stop beating the drum of, we know first party isn't good. We bought, we're investing in it. We acknowledged it. Because I feel like he's done a pretty good job at least acknowledging that. And obviously they've addressed the problem. I mean, if, they bought a bunch of studios, we still wait to see, how that's going to play out for them. But you guys think this is something, as we wrap up this console gen, that he should be kind of talking about?
Good. Well, don't you finish?
Go ahead. No, I'm finished.
Nah, I mean, listen, I'm with you, Brad. I know where you at with this, Brad. You know what I'm saying? I know your frustration. And this is how I look at it, right? If he's coming out, just bringing it initially to the forefront and bringing it up and bringing it, then it's like, all right, fam, we heard you already. You know what I'm saying? But if he's asked and he's responding in this way, honestly, I don't necessarily have a problem. We all know that is the Achilles heel. We all know this generation is straight L as far as that department. So, to me, I'm of the mindset where it's like, don't talk to me. Just show me. You know what I'm saying? At this point, right?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. Now, if he's asked in his defense, and he's at least he's being honest. My thing is, if he was asked this and he's like, nah, we out here. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, whoa, Phil Dominus, hold on, we're gonna have to talk now because you clearly don't see what I'm seeing, and this is why. But he's honest, he's transparent with it, he says it's a problem. You know, have we heard him say this before? Yes. You know, but as long as he's not actively putting out there, he's just responding to a question, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. And you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So since, you know, he's asked, he's being honest, cool. Now my thing is, you know, for the most part, no more talking. Next gen, let's go. Because my thing is, I see these signings, I'm seeing these studios, all of it sounds fire. Fire. Like all the talent. They literally hiring up, like, you know, for at least for initiative, like all like Sony's top stuff. Like this is really cool. I mean, all I'm saying is at this point, I need bangers. Next gen, I need bangers. And that to me is how he can shut people up. He can shut a person like me up because I'm going to sit there and say, okay, yeah, you said this and you said you're going to do this and it's going to be great and this, that, and other. But when I see it and it comes to fruition, then you get that, yo, all right, I got to put my hands up. I bend the knee. You did it, fam. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, it doesn't hold any weight to me. But I do like that he acknowledged that it's an issue, just from an honest executive. Because some executives will not tell you that. Some executives will never say, yo, you know what I'm saying, we're weak here. They'll spin it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give him that. That's where I'm at with it.
Luca, any thoughts on his comments, Phil's comments?
Honestly, listen, I think that I'm with Cogito here. I don't like, he can say whatever he wants, but until I see something more from Xbox, I'm just kind of like, eh. And like, as it stands right now, I've been on record saying that this generation has been over for a long time. I really I don't expect anything from Xbox this gen. But next gen, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what these studios have been doing. And let's see if they put their money where their mouths are, because as it stands, it's just a lot of talking and not enough showing. And they didn't show me anything during E3. It was Indie Fest. So it's like right now I'm just like, okay,
wow, Indie Fest.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I'm with Luca. I wasn't a fan. Y'all know, y'all seen my video. Y'all
No,
seen
Phil,
me addict.
Phil,
We were not fans of that.
is it, Phil apparently was blocking people on Twitter that were basically critical of his E3 presentation.
Now, I have to say for the record, I have a problem with that because
I found that to be interesting.
Yeah, I have a problem with that, and I've had this conversation with Rand and Jez, and you know, listen, there's one thing that on one aspect I understand. If you work hard on a presentation to show to the world, right, and you're emotionally attached to it, I can understand feeling away when somebody says, yo, your verse was garbage. Like if you spent the whole year ready to spit this verse and kick your show off your new song, and people was like, nah, it's trash. I get that, right? There's an emotional level. But if the person who's saying it, right, is either, I forget if they're respected or not, but let's just say they're not being disrespectful in the way they're saying.
They're providing constructive.
They provide constructive criticism,
yes.
And they say, hey, that joint wasn't for me, and this is why. This. You didn't show Gears campaign. You didn't do that, right? And you break it down as long
all
as
valid criticisms,
criticisms, and as long as you come from a place of respect, of not disrespecting him personally, then you can't be in your feelings to be blocking people. Like that's a sensitivity that you've got to fix. I got to keep. I did not like that because I saw one of the tweets that someone sent to him. I'm not going to put that person's name out. And he's like, look, I'm a hardcore guy for Xbox. That didn't move me. It didn't feel me. It's sad. It saddens me that you guys are not catering to. That was kind of the gist of what the guy was saying. And he got blocked. I got a problem. I don't think you should be in the business of blocking people because
you certainly should not be blocking people who have supported you through your fuck shit.
Yeah, I don't like that. That part, I hope that's not true with him blocking stuff because that comes with the territory.
Well, I didn't see anything about him blocking people. I saw things about him unfollowing people. So
yeah, I'm sorry, he unfollowed. I misspoke.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, he unfollowed, and then he made it a point with. I'm not going to mention their name, but he made it a point to follow them again so they could see that he then unfollow them so you could see that he unfollowed them. So
I guess follow. You got a choice. I thought it was blocking, so I
no, I'm
apologize.
sorry, I misspoke.
Oh,
But
no, it's
even
fine.
then, I mean, like it's this is my thing. Like, if you're going to engage in the community, you can't be like, "Oh, I love you guys," when you guys are or
When
telling
I'm
me how
hot,
wonderful
yeah.
Xbox it is, and then hey, Phil, I really wasn't feeling E3. I thought you guys could have, maybe show more first party. I don't think that's bad. I don't think
that's bad.
I'm gonna keep it real with you,
to
Chief.
me.
I've been saying for the longest time that I just wish these executives would get off Twitter. Like, get off Twitter,
Thank you.
please. Please, there's nothing. Whatever you say is going to be spun negatively. Just get off Twitter. You make way too much money to be engaging with people up in this community. Like, keep it moving and show us through your products, not through your words, because your words will be twisted, misconstrued, and turned into something else entirely. And no matter what you do, it's going to be seen as a negative.
And that's been their issue this whole console generation. Messaging. They go on social media. One person says one thing, and then someone else says something else, and it's like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Like,
the only person I want to see on social media is Aaron Greenberg. All of them can. The rest of them can chill. What? You are the head of a $1 billion fucking corporation. Why are you on Twitter? Like, what are you doing? Should you not be running your corporation? Okay, all right.
Maybe that's why the first party output's been bad. He's been on Twitter too much. Anyway, but I will say this. I find it interesting that he's talking about this, but I think this kind of, and I'm gonna get my media soapbox here.
Here we go.
I think this should put to rest that there was media bias against Xbox first party. If the head of your company, your division, your product coming out and saying, "Hey, we shit the bed with first party," I mean, what does that tell you?
It comes from the top.
Can we stop acting like media bias is not like a thing, though? Like, it's absolutely a thing.
Oh, you doing it?
Stop.
Let me get my food.
No. Let me go. Because you're always doing this shit. You are always trying to say something about media bias. First of all, behind the media are people, and human beings all exhibit their own kind of biases. I'm not just talking about whatever they may say against Xbox. I'm saying that media bias as a whole is something that exists. The media will spin shit in order to favor one thing or another. This is real. Like, that shit's actually real. Now, like I said, the media bias against Xbox, I don't know about all that shit.
What I'm talking about is when people say, "Oh my God, Crackdown 3 got a 6.5." That's media bias. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. I understand.
Crackdown 3 is not the best, so that's.
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that. But people always blame the media for Microsoft's shortcomings, and I'm like, no. If a game doesn't review well, it's because it didn't review well. It's maybe not a good game. If you like the game, that's cool. Like the game, but don't blame it on, "Oh, that's media bias. It should have got a 9." That's what I'm talking about. I get, we all have biases. I hate Burger King, right? I don't like Burger King.
Let me give you an example of media bias. How about that one time that one woman made a fucking article talking about how she's shocked that there's people of color in Apex Legends, and she's like, "Wow, I cannot believe that they would actually do something like that." Pushing that kind of agenda and having a bias against that corporation based off the fact that she herself is a person of color. How about that kind of thing? The media is full of people who are human, and humans inherently have biases for and against things. For me, I want them to report the actual facts, and I don't want to hear their opinions unless it specifically says this is an opinion piece. And reviews, Enrique, are glorified opinions.
Yes,
I think that with what's happened with the gaming media, and not just gaming media, but just even the news media, because of this 24/7 hour news cycle, that we get a lot more of the opinion stuff that you're talking about, Luca, because they need to continue to provide content.
They need to get those clicks, which is why they say a lot of fuck shit.
And you see it in regular news. It's that 24/7 news cycle, and it's like.
And what about that woman who's claimed that Days Gone was like sexist and racist, because the freakers were all white, even though
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
that in the game. And then she doesn't seem to understand that biker culture, they say certain things. Like, I watched Sons of Anarchy, so I was like, okay, this makes sense, bitches.
Yeah.
So she made like a bunch of assumptions based off her own personal biases because she's probably a liberal, and I know that she was a woman. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying.
yeah, no, but I'm not. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that people don't have opinions or biases, like inherent biases. What I'm saying is that there isn't this conspiracy theory. Like it's just oh, we hate Xbox first party, so we're going to give it a 6.5. Like that's not how that works.
Like, okay, the people who are saying this are how do I say, extremist fanboys. So I don't even understand why you would even listen to anything.
Acknowledge it, yeah, because you got to look at the source of.
Like, if they are an extremist, whatever they're saying, I'm gonna side eye them. Like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah. That's my only. I want to say beef with Brad.
No, but no, like, I mean, I'm not. I get what you guys are saying, and
that's what I'm trying to say. Like, sometimes, again, you know, there's gonna be certain people that we know where they stand on that subject. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to get into a social media war with a said person, to me, serves no purpose, because at the end of the day, whatever I say is never going to change that person's opinion.
Exactly. Never. That's like trying to get into it with the quartering about feminism or racism. I'm not talking to that guy.
Oh my God.
He has
Have you talked to him?
No, I haven't talked to him. No.
I thought you engaged him. That's why
he has a brand to sell, and people pay him good money to say the things that he says. So I'm not even mad at him because he's making bank being a fucking nut job. Good for him. It was the same thing. Like, I remember I came across this YouTube channel where this black woman was condoning and defending R. Kelly, stating that it was like, well, I mean, we have to protect our black men, that kind of thing, despite what he had done and the fact that he was being convicted.
We need to protect our children.
Bro, listen, she was getting like $200, $300 fucking super chats. I was sitting there like, damn, maybe I should be an extremist too.
Yeah.
Me too. Like people, listen, that is a brand. They are selling their brand, and I can't even be angry at them about that.
Hey, Luca and Cogito, real quick, somebody brought up Jim Sterling. ABC says you have no problem with Jim Sterling or the media saying that Forza's loot boxes when it didn't, and then giving that game's a lower Metacritic rating because of it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about the situation. I know Forza's got a high Metacritic.
I like Jim Sterling. So. Like,
Jim Sterling, he's the one that like gives like harsh reviews for every game. Is that him?
But like Jim has also made it clear that his Jim Sterling persona is a persona that is on the internet. So you know,
yeah, okay.
Like that's not actually his personality. He comes off as very grandiose because that's his brand. But
that's his brand, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, and Enrique, the only reason I am countering what you are saying is because we have gotten into several discussions where it's not just one set specific Xbox media bias. It's other things as well, sir. And I'm not going to let you sweep it under the rug just so it can fit your agenda right now. # media bias. And
get him.
Look, I have no agenda here. BRAP is a agenda free podcast.
With a media bias, though, you be going in, though, bro. You be going in.
Well, you know, I do because I want to offer just a different perspective because there's a lot of that out there. And last generation, it's funny.
You
like
will always take the side of the journalist. That is something that I've noticed about you.
I do. No, and I said if you heard me my last rant, I said I do it on purpose because everyone takes the opposite side. So I'm just trying to play or offer a different point of view.
So if you're going to offer a different point of view for one aspect, how about you offer a different point of view for other aspects as well? Because I only ever see you going against the media bias stuff. What about anything else? What else do you offer?
I call it when the media when the media messes stuff up. I do call them out and stuff. You know, like absolutely.
Like what?
She said, "Give me the last time."
Can I have the last time, please?
She wants a receipt.
She wants a receipt. I don't know. I can't think of it right now.
Hold on. Let me see. I have receipt.
I'll get back to you.
Luca, you better not pay. Luca, trying to imply.
Luca, you better not be pulling any audio. She pulled up audio of me on like Halo or something, like on a podcast one time.
Listen, I only did what I had to do to make a point. Okay.
Do you remember that, Luca?
I do. No, I remember. Listen, all I'm saying is I am never going to, bring up anything unless I have proof that it's something that you've done. So the way I do it, right, like it's real sneaky. So I'll ask someone a question or I'll frame things in a way
Luca should have been an
where
attorney.
I already know the answer to the question because I have the screenshots in my back pocket, and I just wait. I wait for you to trap yourself. Trap yourself, you know? So
that's actually great lawyering. That is,
yes.
Luca, you should have been an attorney, seriously.
Like seriously, like the way your mind works, like you literally need to be in that field. That you are custom made for that. That's literally the process. Absolutely.
Yeah, Luca, either that or like a private investigator.
I listen, I'm down for it. I pull up receipts with a fucking quickness, a swiftness, all this ifness.
You pulled a receipt on slow-mo, I think, the other day. Maybe it was in the Brap live chat where you were like, oh, you changed your tune. Now you like the Gears tech test where you didn't like it the other day or something on Scuffcast.
Oh yeah,
I walked into something on IOP because y'all continued it there, and I'm like,
like, listen, I'm just saying, he was looking a little shaky, a little spooky. He'll be like, I was not Luca. I didn't do anything, you know, like he often does, but whatever.
He's like, Luca, no.
Salute to the homie Slow-Mo.
You know, salute to my eldest born son who he thinks he can escape, but you can't escape the watching eyes of your father, Luca.
Oh man.
Oh my God. That's actually distracted my life said I'd vote for Luca as U.S. Attorney General.
There you go.
Honestly speaking, I would love to be like in PR for these corporations because let me tell you, sometimes I see them doing stuff and I'm just like, what? What are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, there has to be a valid explanation for some of the crazy stuff that happens. I think maybe their sales go up or something. Like, there has to be an explanation for some of the shit
actually, by the way, speaking of me calling media, there was an incident with an IGN reporter who actually went at it with some fans, Xbox fans on Twitter. And I called him out for that. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, you can't do that. You can't like insult people because they're coming at you. You got to take the high road.
Oh yeah, like I've seen several, like, you know, we're all just human, and for some reason journalists seem to think that their opinions are more valid or something. I don't really know, but like I said, I'm not denying that there are some nut job extremists in the Xbox community, because there are.
Well, both communities. I mean, it's not just Xbox.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's both communities, 100%. But you know, I'll never forget that one day people were denying that NPD was valid after using NPD for years, just because.
Oh, remember that one?
And I was like,
that one was
that was real bad.
I remember that one. Yes.
Like people are like, listen, I don't.
People were going at Piscatella and like question validity that one month.
Like legitimately, bro. I was like, listen, I don't pay these nut jobs any mind because I know based off their past experiences that they have a inherent bias towards whatever it is that they support. So whatever they say, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. And it's unfortunate that they've framed it in that way for themselves, but it's hard to trust people's opinions if they're always leaning one way or another.
Matt doesn't do the console war stuff. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't play
No, but Matt had it. I remember that because Matt had his gun ready. He was okay, let me break it down. And he had to go at a couple of people and show them the science to it. And I was like, this is crazy right here.
Matt will break it down for you. It's funny.
Okay, I gotta go. I have to go get my hair done. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for having me.
All right, Luca. Yeah, anytime.
Later.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Fun time. Bye.
Luca.
Bye. All right, that is the one and only Ashley Luca. She was on fire today, man.
On fire. She came with it. She
was like, drop me a link. I was like, okay. No, but I get what you're saying on the whole media bias thing. And honestly, I do it too because, as I said earlier, there was so much of it going around. I wanted to give it because look, I've talked to a lot of these guys. Like I have a different perspective, I think, than some people have because when I was at GameSpot as a moderator, and this goes back. 18 years ago. Oh, geez, mate. Yeah, about 18 years ago when Jeff Gertzman was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, when I had Greg Kasavin, who's at Supergiant Games.
Yes.
I knew him from GameSpot because he was senior editor in chief at GameSpot. So, as moderators, we would have like you as a moderator, you had access behind the scenes in the forums to DM GameSpot staff. So a lot of us would be in communication with a lot of the journalists there, and so we talk
Right.
video games with them. So like a lot of these guys, man, are really super passionate about video games.
Absolutely.
And when push comes to shove, man, like they don't have, like they're not like pro, like Xbox or pro Sony. They may say, you know what, my console of choice is PlayStation 4 or Xbox. But it always comes down to the types of games that they play and that are on those consoles. So that's kind of why I take that stand too, Cogito, because like I've talked to these guys and their job is not sexy by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And I think you guys have gotten a taste of it now going to E3, seeing a lot of the work that goes behind that.
Oh,
The
man.
developer interviews, getting information, all that stuff, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you see it firsthand. You have a tremendous amount of respect. You have more respect when you're actually talking to these people and you're going through the process and you're just like, wow, I had no idea what that entailed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you feel for it. You know what I'm saying? You definitely feel for the other side once you get to the mechanics of it. And then then you start to realize how much us as gamers don't know. And you're just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I might not be as quick to jump down the throat of something or some situation because you have a little bit more information of what's going on behind the scene.
Exactly. And that's the point of view that I'm coming from. I probably have more, I'm privy to a little more because I've had we had Ryan McCaffrey on, right?
Yeah.
So we talked to Ryan McCaffrey behind the scenes. I mean, so, having access to these people, they give you a lot of insight that you don't know. And it really does help put things in perspective. Now, are they infallible? No.
Right.
And I think what's happening with game journalism now, and I think this is just a byproduct of just how big the industry is and the fact that we live in this 24/7 news cycle. I think unfortunately what's happening is you're getting a lot of opinion pieces, then because there's not enough news out there to report. And if there is news, everyone's reporting the same thing. So it comes down to, well, how do you distinguish yourself from, Kotaku, or GameSpot, right or wrong,
Right.
and that's what's happening, and I think just as consumers, like anything else, you got to decide, which site you want to go to that you feel caters to your point of view or the kind of information that you want as a gamer.
And what you make it a good point, because the other thing you have to look at too is just like, again, even with Metacritic or opinions and reviews and all this stuff, it's just like to me, it's just like a template, right? Okay, you get this person's opinion or whatever, but don't take it so personally. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there are games that we all love that may not have been scored high by, for God's sake, I'm a Destiny player. Like I didn't kill Metacritic Destiny 1. You know what I'm saying? Like,
has Destiny ever gone like 8? It's never been above 80 Metacritic, right?
I don't believe so, right? I mean, I know the first one for sure didn't. I don't know. I don't remember off top what the second one did. But again, what happens is there's this emotional attachment to the Metacritic thing, right? Now, what I will say is, like, for the opposite case is, like, for example, what's going on with Fire Emblem right now, right? Like, Fire Emblem was something I had my eye on, but I necessarily wasn't going to try to buy day one. Right. I was like, I can wait. My backlog is crazy enough as it is. But then as the Metacritic started to heat up and you start to say, wow, this one raving reviews. So I'm just like, man, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Have to get early.
Oh man, what's going on, Miles? Oh, that's the Lords of Gaming's.net Tech General, my man, Lord Miles Gaming. He says, "What is going on, Basement Radio Arcade and Unload Podcast? Everyone has a bias. Oh no, we do. Listen, as humans, we all have inherent biases. So that's literally what we're saying.
Yeah, like Mods probably has a bias towards NVIDIA GPU cards.
Mods has I'll tell you what Mods bias is bias against Nintendo Tech. I'm waiting for Nintendo Tech articles on Tegra chips. I see all this PlayStation 5 and all this great Xbox Scarlet stuff, but the Nintendo fans feel slighted.
I want to see more Nintendo like hardware breakdown or rumors from Mods.
I want to know about that. That's my guy. But I am so humble that he writes for us. And
I'll tell you something. We had him on 2 weeks ago, man.
Oh,
dude, so much insight. Like when he broke down some of the stuff these cards can do in terms of working efficiently. To like it, and I wonder if next gen, if it's not going to be so much about 4K as it is upscaling to 4K, but then incorporating ray tracing to make the game look better. So because he brought that up, like he's like, oh, there's certain tricks they can do with the GPU, with the graphics cards, and because ray tracing is such a burden.
Such a
that there's like things they can do, and I'm like, what, really? Like this is so big shout out to Moz, man. He's great, man. You guys, like, You said you guys have a great contributor to the website, man.
And he's awesome. And like I said, I mean, I'm in tech, and I watch a mods video and
Yeah.
article, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So it's just cool to see. You know what I'm saying? And then switch light for the win. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to my point. What Slow Mo was bringing up was about the Fire Emblem. Like in terms of my overall point with Metacritic, again, it's just an outlier. It's just you use it as a template to kind of form an opinion, but ultimately you are the final say. So with Fire Emblem, it was the other way for me, which was like, okay, it's getting these great reviews, right? I had my eye on it, but it's getting these great reviews. So now I think I'm gonna lean towards picking it up, where it's currently downloading right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched about 3 or 4 different things. Easy Allies had a great one. I watch a bunch of them and try to aggregate and then form my own opinion. Now, there's other situations, let's say, for example, like literally right now, I'm gonna give you another Shadowkeep, right? I am hype beyond hype. Shadowkeep could literally recycle the same map, same everything. The fact that it has cross save, the fact that Google Stadia, I just want it from a technical standpoint. I want to see how it performs an always online game on a streaming service, right? There's certain things about Shadowkeep's release, Armor 2.0, that it doesn't even really matter about the content for me that I'm excited about. So Metacritic could be like 60. I'm picking it up day one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing, Metacritic really gonna say. So it's like, so people have to understand, like, don't get so emotional. These are people's opinions. If you got your heart set on the game, go cop. B Money, what's going on, baby? I saw you on Marvel Alliance earlier. I was downloading what you call Fire Emblem. But yeah, so it's like, just use it as an opinion and then form your own thing. You don't got to get all emotional if people are going against your game. Like people,
it's not that they're going against it. They're giving a it's funny. Do you listen to Worry Word?
Yes.
Worry is, I mean, first of all, just he's been gaming for a long time.
Like, that's
a little bit longer than I have. And just he's very insightful, very smart guy. I encourage anyone who hasn't subscribed to his YouTube channel, definitely check him out. Just very insightful. And he talks about this. He's like, with regards to game reviews, he's like, no, they do matter. Like, he's like, he always uses this analogy of, hey, I like my niece's finger painting, and then you have Picasso, and then you have people who, whose job is it to judge the finger painting of the Picassos, and the aggregate of their thoughts and their opinion does matter. Because look, there's a difference between my niece's finger painting and a Picasso.
Absolutely.
And he's right. But it's okay if you like your niece's finger painting, right? But if your niece's finger painting isn't a Picasso, that's not a slight against your niece by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely. And it's okay, like I say, if you like the niece finger painting games, no doubt. But there's levels, right? There's levels to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's certain things that, it's a Picasso. There's certain, I will say this in terms of Metacritic and stuff like that. There are some people's opinions that I rank higher when it comes to certain subject matter. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to certain types of games, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to go to a certain person for that because you know what? His thinking tends to align closer to mine in this genre or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So those things can happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always encourage people, if you don't subscribe to Game Informer, the magazine, the print version of Game Informer. Yeah, no, they're great. They actually break down the scoring system. And they explain to you what a 10 is, what a 9 is, what an 8 is, what a 7 is, what a 6 is. And I encourage anyone, if you haven't done so, read their scoring system.
Yes, I'm gonna have to do that for LogNet because running around, they out here throwing 10s around like they hot candy, and I got I'm like, I'll be trying to be supportive of my dudes, but I'm like, all right, we have to have shout out to Dizzy, that's my guy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna call out no writers, but all I'm gonna say is like, I completely agree with the Game Informer system because when I see 10, that in my opinion has to be either game of the generation or it introduced something or mechanic wise in games that prior to that point hadn't been introduced. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, we gotta ease on these 10. You know what I'm saying? And let's get it back down to,
You
that
guys might have
standard.
developers beating down your door to give you a review copy
Oh
soon,
my
man.
God. Really? There's a couple of games that some writers, I'm like, the dev love us. And I'm just like, oh my Yo, shout out to Chief. He said, oh, 10 out of 10. Look, Chief, I'm working with him, man. I'm working. Now, Dizzy is subscribes to the correct philosophy. We're just working on some writers that we feel they got to get in pie. But shout out to them for even doing reviews, man. We definitely
hope you guys aren't giving Knack 2 a 10 out of 10. There might be some problems if you guys are doing that. No, but no, I just want to. You mentioned 10, like what to you a 10 means, but the Game Informer definition of a 10 is what they're saying is outstanding, a truly elite title that is nearly perfect in every way. The score is given out rarely, indicates a game that cannot be missed. So, and it's interesting. Like you see people get upset when their favorite game gets like a 7 or 6. But like a 7, they're saying is average. The game's features may work, but are nothing that even casual players haven't seen before. A decent game from beginning to end. 6, limited appeal. Although there may be fans of games receiving the score, many will be left yearning for more from a more rewarding gaming experience. That's exactly how I felt about Crackdown 3 to a T. Like I wanted a more rewarding gaming experience, and I didn't get it from that game.
I feel you. Definitely.
It had some appeal to it. The game, there were some charming moments of the game that I certainly enjoyed, but it just left me wanting more. And I just said, you know what? There's other games that are out there right now that are just better for me to play right now.
Absolutely, completely understand the thought process behind that. Completely.
Yeah. I do want to go to Gears real quick before we wrap up. The Gears Tech Test. Are you playing Gears? The Gears Tech Test this week? They're opening up to everyone on Xbox Live. So
I'm gonna get in there. I got Fire Emblem downloading right now.
Okay.
I am gonna get into that Gears. Usually Gears I usually touch later tonight, so I'll definitely hit that because it's something else. Oh, because I got another debate, the Wolfenstein Youngblood, man.
I passed on it. I passed on it based on the reviews, man. I was gonna pick it up, but I tell you, there's so many games that I have right now. It doesn't make sense for you to pick it up.
And the reason why I may pass is because I gotta finish. I'm like at the end of the other one. Was it New Order? Like I gotta finish I'm literally at the end. I've just gotta finish it. And it sucks because shout out to Mr. Megadeth. I was supposed to do a podcast with him and he hit me up because he heard me talk about how I liked it. And he's like, yo, you got it done yet? And I'm like, nah. He's like, oh man, this is a spoiler cast. So boom. So I couldn't do it. And to that day, I still have to go back and finish that game.
Oh my gosh, man.
So I said to myself, I cannot justify picking that up until
is it the new Colossus that you were playing, or was it the one before that?
Whatever the last one was on Xbox.
The new Colossus.
New Colossus, excuse me, I got my names wrong. Yeah, New Colossus. I was right at the end.
Oh my god, that game is so good.
Amazing. Yeah, the game's
so good.
Amazing. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple of scenes that blew my mind that I couldn't believe they did that to a main character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. So yeah, so that's what I was like, I'm right there. Let me finish that, then I'll pick up the new joint. But Fire Emblem, always have my eye on. Gears, yes, I will be touching Gears. Just tech test some more.
Are you still? How do you feel about no campaign?
Oh my god, Brad! I gotta get at you. I'm gonna pull a Luca now. Brad, we gotta talk. Come on, man. You're being so hard, man. Come on.
Listen, I don't think I got a chance to really discuss this on IOP as much as I wanted to. But for me, it's this. There's principalities in this, Smokey. No, for me, it's this. I am a huge Gears fan.
Facts.
Right? And I'm not being critical. See, it's funny. People are like, oh, you're just hating. No, I'm being critical because I love the franchise. You guys understand. Like, remember Mad World, remember the theme song to Gears 1, where you see Marcus Phoenix and you hear the music playing in the background. I mean, the campaign, Gears has been synonymous outside of multiplayer, has been synonymous with a great campaign. I even went out on a limb. I think the last Brap ran to say the Gears trilogy for me, last console generation. I would put it a second to the Mass Effect trilogies of last console generation in terms of some of my favorite trilogy or campaigns. Right. Some people look at me side-eyed for saying that, but that's how that's just how I feel. Like those two franchises, those trilogies. What's it?
No, that's where you at. That's your baby. Gears is iconic. We can't take that.
Yeah. That's my way. But Gears is really iconic. It is. Let me tell you something. When Gears came out, I mean, there were dudes, and I used to run with an Xbox Live clan. Big shout out to Rogue Nation. And we were like, yo, this is better than Halo.
Yo, Gears
At the
changed
time,
the
seriously,
game.
we're
Yeah,
like,
Gears
this is
changed the game.
yeah.
Mhm.
The Lucas said you still crying about not seeing the campaign.
Yeah, he is.
Yes,
Luca,
I
I'm
am crying, Luca.
gonna let him rock, and then I'm gonna get on him.
Yeah, because Cognito and I we haven't had a chance to really talk about
Yeah,
this.
what's up?
Yeah, wait, Luca, where? How come you're not being sympathetic to
Mhm.
my concerns or what? See, where's the empathy that you were
Where's the
talking about
empathy?
earlier in the chat in the podcast?
So continue. Say
So
how
she's
much
gonna
it changed the game
she's
for
gonna be
you.
like, drop me a link, Enrique. But no,
Mhm.
I love Gears, man. It's like at the
Yeah.
time it came out, it was like it's an
Mhm.
iconic franchise. It is
Absolutely.
what Halo was to the OG Xbox, Gears was to the
And the
360.
360. Let me tell you real quick. Do you remember what was it? The Mad World
The Mad
trailer?
World. Yeah.
Bro, that changed my life when I saw that. And then
Yep.
I heard the story behind that when shout out to Ryan McCaffrey, and he had the OG Xbox beloved son, Peter Moore, my man.
Even more, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he told the story about that boardroom in that trailer. It was, yeah, trust me, I get where you're at with it. You know what I'm saying? As far as how important it is to you. I guess
Remember when Maria died?
oh yeah, remember Dom.
Remember
died.
Dominic? Remember Dom? Like,
That
I mean,
Mhm.
dude, I got choked up.
Yeah. No, slow mo. I don't know nothing about Gears being better than Halo, but continue. Yo, slow stupid. But nah, here's the thing. I'm with you. This is where me and you were on the same point, and then I'm gonna tell you where
But-
me and you split
Well,
paths.
let me just finish real quick.
Finish it.
So, like I said, I'm passionate. I love Gears, and
Yes.
we have always seen the campaign to Gears, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a big fan of the campaign. There's so much lore there. There's so much rich history with the campaign. They've
Mhm.
always shown us the campaign, and I'm a little concerned. And I just I'm just using my experience as gaming. Like imagine this, right, Cognito? We know how funny Lord King is, right?
Absolutely.
We know how outspoken Attic can be, right?
Absolutely.
Imagine if Attic stopped being outspoken.
Yeah, y'all would come to me and be like, yo,
You'd be like, wait a minute, what's going on,
what's
right?
going on? Why is King and Addict all of a sudden not being themselves and Cog is dominating the
Yeah, I mean, right?
Yeah,
I mean, right? I mean, like, so that's how I look at this. Wait a minute, there's something's going on, and I'm not saying it's doom and gloom. I'm just saying,
you said doom and gloom. Stay on your keep the same energy. You are feeling very concerned.
yes,
Yeah.
concerned.
Because of their omission, they're almost, in your opinion, I feel like you feel like they're made a line in the sand that they are not going to show you and not give you this, right? So my question to you is this: as a result, do you honestly think the campaign is suspect because of these actions? Be honest.
I think possibly yes. I
That's
think possibly yes. I
That's
think that when you when you're confident and I'm just look, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I've even said this. I've said this.
we going down a rabbit hole. Go ahead. I love it. Continue.
No, I've said this. I've said this on Brap. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I eat crow. I hope this thing is amazing. I really do, because I want it to be good. But I'm not the only Gears fan that feels this way. You know, I've talked to a lot of Gears fans that love the campaign, that really are like, this is my baby. Like I love the campaign. It's an iconic campaign, and I'm a little concerned that they haven't shown us the campaign. Like they've done it every Gears. They even did it every Gears game that's come out, they've shown us campaign. They did it with Gears 4 more recently, this console generation, right? And they haven't done it. And so if I go back into my memory, if I log into my brain, if I go 35 years into the time I've been gaming, and anytime a developer is excluded certain aspects of a game,
it's always
usually
been a bad
because
thing. Right.
What's that?
It's based on, because we OGs, right? So I know where you're going. You're saying based on history, that based on our gaming histories, when a developer, publisher, what have you, is this secretive about something, generally, right? Our instinct tends to be right because it tends to be bad. Like how we were, like, I guess in your defense, I'll throw you a bone. Like how, let's be honest, the Crackdown destruction was held for a long time, right? We didn't get to see. Now, there's a lot of things behind that, yes, but people were like, yo, when are we gonna see that multiplayer thing that y'all was talking about? You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So I get where you're going. I definitely do. I guess the point, I think Luca, she brought this up, and where I was with you was right after E3, right? You saw, me and the Lords, we came out, shout out to Lord Saul, shout out to Lord Addict. We came out of that theater and we were disgusted. Where was the Gears 5 campaign? This is the place you showcase it. The game was supposed to be released. I'm still got that energy. Then, they're showing the other modes, they're showing the multiplayer tech test. Okay, great. That's cool. Where is the campaign? I get that sentiment. The only thing that reels me in that I have to say is that if this was a new studio, right? If this was the Coalition's first game and Gears is debuting as a new title, right? Then I would have pause to concern. But I mean, for the most part, we know what Gears is. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt until I see it, and then say, okay, you know what? I was wrong, or hey, you know what? I was right. Y'all was suspect. This is why y'all was not showing it. But they've earned that level of cachet. That is angry as I am that they haven't showed this campaign. And Enrique, I'm with you. This thing should have been shown. There's no reason not to show it, right? For whatever reason, I don't know why they're being so secretive or marketing. They're trying to get market.
Uh-oh. Cog, you there? I think we lost Cognito. Did we lose him? Uh-oh. Hey, can you guys hear me okay? I think we may have lost Cognito. Lucas said the pony's got him. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, you guys can hear me, but you guys cannot hear. Something's going on here, guys. All right, so Cognito's dropped out. I think he's gonna. Google got him. All right, hold on, guys. We're gonna get Cognito back in because I want to get his opinion on this. I will say this though, guys. I do have. I know, Luca. Yeah, you mentioned you're not concerned because of Coalition. But
Yo.
All right, now I can hear you now. Yeah, you know what, man? I want to ask you a serious question right now.
Let's go.
How is Google gonna get Stadia to work if they even can't get Hangouts right?
Yeah, they got me. Yo, the chat. I'm reading the chat, die laughing and mad at the same time.
Oh, they're like the ponies got you.
Yeah, they got me. So they wasn't feeling that. They wasn't feeling where I was at. Let me stop. Yeah. But pretty much. I mean, at the end of the day, the point I was just trying to make was just that, if it was a new studio, this is the Coalition. You know what I'm saying? I am willing to put aside.
I need a real quick. Let me interject. You mentioned Coalition, right?
Yes.
Their first Gears game, Metacritic 84.
Okay.
Other Gears have been 90 plus.
84 ain't bad.
84 is not bad,
but
but would you say that maybe there's a slight drop off?
Well, I will say this. Let's be real. Gears 4 was safe, right? Mm-hmm. It was safe. It was, we got control of this iconic franchise. Let's not mess it up. Let's give Gears fans what they want. Now, what they've been explicit about is that, they're doing new things with Gears 5. They're going to do some things that, they're excited about. We'll see. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because 84 ain't bad now. Come on, we acting like 84.
No, I'm not saying 84 is bad, but I mean, couldn't you make the argument that it's a drop off from where the franchise has been?
Right. I will say that, yes, if you want to compare 4, if we're ranking, 4 is not the best Gears game, right? We can agree on that. But I'm not, all I'm going to say is that as long as it had a level of consistency and people were not disgusted, then I'm cool. This is the one I'm going to judge you harder on because 1, we haven't seen the campaign. 2, You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of pressure on Microsoft first party to
Mhm.
deliver quality experience this gen. So that's why Gears is so important. This Gears is so important to me personally. You know what I'm saying? I need them to kind of end the gen on a high note. You know what I'm
Cog,
saying?
B Money, real quick. I
Yeah.
don't even mean to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
he's saying, Cog, what if Destiny only showed Crucible for the next update? Would the energy be the same?
Yeah, they've done this before. They've done
Okay.
that. They've done that with what you call it, with Season of the Drifter. I was not that thrilled about the marketing. I thought the marketing was trash. I've been on record and saying that, yo, they handled it very bad. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if someone's giving me, they've given me in the past consistent campaigns or consistent things that I've been excited about, right? And this one time they decide to go left. Am I totally saying that that's cool? Like, am I condoning this marketing plan? No, y'all know I'm not condoning that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I do not agree with them doing what they're doing. You need to show the campaign. You need to get the people hyped. However, this is what we're in now. We can sit here and cry till the sons come home that they should have showed it. It's not coming.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not, it's not going to happen.
So now what do? Do we sit there and say, yo, I'm not buying it because you're not showing the campaign?
I'm getting it for $1.
There you go. You made your choice, right? You
Yes.
said you're not giving your 60. Me, all I'm saying is I'm still willing to give it a chance, see where it's at. You know, I'm not doom and gloom on it yet. I'm not there yet. I have my eyebrow raised. Yes, I do got my eyebrow raised. Like, yo, why y'all not showing this, man? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Let's go. But I just want to, like I said, I want to give them a chance based on the history, based on the pedigree. It's not a new studio. You know, it seems like they're talking about doing new things, and let's see what happens. Now, Brap, I will
Well, that's
say
the other
this.
thing. I mean, they've come out recently and said, "Oh, it's the biggest Gears campaign ever."
Right.
Well, what does that mean? Like, is it
Mhm.
an extra 10 minutes longer than any other Gears campaign? Like, so, like, what does that mean? Like
Right.
that's what I want to know. Like, let me know
Yeah.
what. Trust me, guys. I'm a huge fan
Mhm.
of Gears of War. I really am, and I love Marcus Phoenix. Although I thought they should have killed him in Gears 4, because I don't like Marcus, old Marcus with the gray beard. I'm like, come on, man. That's just, he doesn't wear the grayness
He
well.
don't rock it. Yeah, he don't rock it right. No, I feel you.
Like some people like age well. You know what I mean? Like who's the guy from what's that movie? Liam Neeson and what's the movie where his daughter always gets abducted?
I forget the movie name. I know what you're talking about though.
You know, but he's a protagonist that ages well. I don't think Mark really. Anyhow, but that's my thing, man. Like I think people are thinking that I'm doom and gloom. No,
nah, you doom and gloom. You doom
no.
and gloom, bro. I gotta call you out. I've never seen you this upset about something. Like,
I'm
passionate about this.
I'm concerned. I'm like, and it's the optics of it, and I'm just very concerned, and because I care about the franchise so much.
No,
I want the campaign to do well, to be good, to be solid, to go back to what it used to be. Not and the Gears 4 campaign was okay. It wasn't my favorite. But you know, when they talk about all these big things and how the campaign is going to be this and that,
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Like that, I'm with you.
Show me.
I'm with you. I don't want to hear none of that about. I roll my eyes during those segments when I see the media team and they're talking about, yeah, we did this and it's the biggest and it's open and that's cool. You should have shown me. You know what I'm saying? I will say this and I'll give this to you, bro. If Gears drop and that campaign is trash, and if that campaign is like super short, you best believe I will give it up to you. I will give it up to you and say, yo, Brad, you, as King would say, you are on to something. As King would say with the super chat roll through, you are on to something. And I will give it up. You know what I'm saying? And that will be, you know, a sad day for me personally, because I wouldn't expect that to happen. But if it did, then I would say, oh, Enrique was right, man. They were not showing it for a reason. And this is why. You know what I'm saying? It was this, it was that. And hopefully it doesn't come to that, because I don't want to be wrong.
I don't look, man, I don't want to be right in this case. I really don't. I don't. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like I hope that I'm like, oh man, I was just lunching, you know, I should have, you know, I hope that's not the case.
No, preach B-Man. He's saying there's not many Gears fans bigger than me. The way they're rolling this thing out. So I am completely in agreement with B-Money. Like that's where I'm at. To me, what'll be funny is if the campaign is really fantastic and it's amazing, then the marketing should be slapped because there's no reason not to showcase this, to give this thing the best chance to win. And on top of that, let's be real. We saw those like YouTube numbers, right? We saw those. It ain't really been setting the world on fire as far as the view count for the advertising. Have you seen that, bro?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, the view counts haven't been that great. There's been other games that's really doing more well. Like if you go to like go to Xbox's YouTube page, right, and look at when they put up a Gears thing, whatever, and then compare it to other games that are being advertised. It's not as high as you think. Like I thought Gears would be higher. So to me, that's even more incentive to say, yo, we've got to, show this out. And all I'm hoping is maybe they have a plan that it was like multiplayer and all this stuff now. And as we get close to the launch, was still about a month away, then we start getting snippets. I'm hoping, that's my last hope is, maybe that was the approach that they're trying to take.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's certainly interesting. It's if the campaign's fire, then it's like you said, it's like, well, wait a minute, why, why not market this? Why not market this if it's fire? You were sitting on a gold mine. Why not?
Facts.
Well, what was the hesitation? Why were you waiting? And that would be, and they would get criticism for that. I think if the game comes out fire, the campaign's awesome, they're going to get criticized. Well, guys, why didn't you talk about this earlier? And then we go back to that narrative of Microsoft's messy marketing. Luca said their marketing has been trash. Luca also said, for your sake, Enrique, because if this shit ends up fine, I'm roasting all of you. It's about to be a slaughter. Luca, where's the empathy you were talking about for your fellow man, right? Where's that empathy you were talking about, Luca?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Completely. Me and you have always been consistent in agreement. Marketing this generation has been a huge problem. It has been the Achilles heel. They still struggle with presentation, because there's times that even when they have good things on deck, they don't showcase it right. They don't present it right. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to find out some other way about how good it is and how great. And you're just like, come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? I've had these conversations with a lot of these guys behind the scenes, and I'm out front. I mean, even xCloud guy, everything. Developers, I'm like, yo, why didn't you do this? Like, I'm telling you, like, this, that, and third. And then they'll give their reason. And then some of it I do understand. You know what I mean? Some of it I do understand. And then
is Attic chiming in? That's trash. Listen, Attic doesn't hold anything back, right?
I love bringing Attic to these shows, man. Because like Attic don't hold back. Like Attic is our Luca. Like Attic, he's going to tell you in your face, nah, fam, that's not it. Like I'll be diplomatic. Like he's like, it's trash. Like, oh, what's the? And he will put the controller down in a dev's face and walk away. I'm like, he is so disrespectful. I'm like, but you gotta love him.
He's like that dude in Hell's Kitchen. What's his name? Gordon. What's his name?
Yes, Gordon. He's that dude. He's gonna tell you, and I respect it. I respect it. I wish I had the heart to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't because I know like these dudes work really hard. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give constructive criticism. But yeah, he ain't got no problem. And like King, I can always tell by his face. He just make a face like, nah, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Me and Saul were the diplomatic ones. Like me and Saul, you know what I'm saying? We'd be like, okay, but like, why were you trying to do X, Y, and Z here? Yeah. Just to understand, like, what the hell was your thought process behind this decision? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's fun, man. It's always fun with the Lords.
Yeah, no, you guys, like I said, man, you guys have a great group of guys over there. Great chemistry, man. I'm a big fan, man. What can I say? I'm a
huge fan of you guys too, man. I listen to you guys all the time and see the growth, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm starting to see. Shout out to 33 in here. Y'all need to be hitting the like button for Brap though. I got to start hitting that like for real. But no, like I'm starting to see your growth, and I'm glad that you kind of re-energized and back in it and sticking with it because you have a lot to say. And regardless of whatever side of the fence me and you both are on, I always respect your position because you explain yourself well, and you always do a great job of showing the listener, look, this is why I feel the way I feel, and it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing I always respect about you, Brad.
Thank you, man. I even asked him like, hey, I don't understand your mindset. Like, explain to me.
Yeah,
like you know, we had that conversation last Brap about people upset over female Thor, and we had a listener who was like, nah, I'm not feeling it, and kind of, I don't know if he was somebody who is sexist, but I mean, there were certain things he was saying. I couldn't understand because I can't relate to that mindset. So I was like, help me understand your mindset, and that's the other thing. Like, if you disagree with me, I don't understand. Like, help me understand where you're coming from too, because maybe there's something there I'm not seeing. I could learn something. I don't know,
Yeah, sure. I want to say one quick thing with B in the chat. He's making a good point. He said he thinks that it could be a reason with as far as Kate's love interest. I think that also is a possibility.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
I think maybe they're so invested with the campaign. Again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to
kill Marcus right away.
Remember when the first trailer they showed a Gears with his head chopped off or something, and I was like, yo, they killing who they killed. You know what I'm saying? But then the camera span and we saw that, Marcus was still alive, and we saw JD and was still alive. So maybe the direction is so swift and they're holding on to something because it's truly a narrative shift and they don't want to spoil it. That's the only thing I can think
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, seriously, if they kill Marcus in the first 10 minutes, wow. I mean, what a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
I would love it. I'd be like, okay, now you know what? I'm not putting this controller down because I want to see what happens next. They killed
Spartan Guard. Yeah,
they killed Marcus. I want to see what happens next now.
It could be. It could very well be that. Those could be the only things. Again, if I'm putting myself in their shoes, and they're so. Let's be honest. I've never seen like they're so staunch with like we're not showing it. So yeah, it could be they're holding on to some narrative gem. And the thought process like, yo, we cannot because they're going to know the whole thing if we show them this. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they say, hey, that's what it is.
Because if you show Marcus, if you give him a vertical slice, if you give us a vertical slice of the campaign, you show us Marcus or you don't show Marcus, then the people are like, oh, wait, why, where's Marcus? Why didn't they show him?
Yeah. Absolutely. We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see, man. But Cogito, man, I want to say, sir, it is always a pleasure to talk video games with you, man.
Thank you, brother.
I really appreciate it.
You know how we do, man. I really appreciate it. We always have good chemistry. The conversations are hilarious. Yes. Always good vibes in the basement. Okay, I haven't made a rant in a while. I know my schedule's been bad, but I had a little bit of time now. I said, all right, let me see if I can extend a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I do got to leave, but I mean, yo, Brad, much appreciated, man. Always fantastic discussion. Even when you rant and I don't like it, I listen.
You're probably like, nope.
I'm like, he gonna piss me off with this one, but let me hear what he got to say. You know what I'm saying? But keep doing what you're doing, brother. These rants are important. I think you have your finger on the pulse of the community, regardless of what side you're on, you have your finger on very important topics, and I think that should be commended and something to do. So I really respect that big time.
No, I appreciate it. It's funny, man. Like I was thinking the other day, I think I owe you a lot of gratitude because you kind of got me through an interesting time with podcasting where I was beefing with people and stuff, and you're like, man, like what why beef? Like it's just and I tell you, man, I took your advice, and I'm like, you know what, and it just now I'm having conversations with people that I wasn't having conversation with, and it's great, man. We're talking video games, and it's just it's fun.
It's fun, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's like, and I really appreciate you said that. Because like at the end of the day, do I agree with everybody? No, and we all got our preferences. There's always going to be people who are on other sides of the fence and stuff. But the way I look at it, I'm from the South Bronx, man. Like video games is my escape. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't care what you do, background, race, sexuality, religion, politics, I don't care. If you pick up a controller, you're my brother. Facts. Because we share something. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of time I'm on. So I don't have time to be on, social media, just beefing with people over this thing that we share. Like, this is what we rock with. Like, we supposed to be, you know what I mean? Now we could have an intellectual discussion on difference of opinion. That's cool. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like the people in the community and stuff like that, like, yo, if you're a gamer, I'm rocking with you, because that's what I'm trying to promote. This is one of my favorite things to do. This thing saved my life. Like, if it wasn't for probably video games in the gym, I don't know where I'd be. You know what I'm saying? And King will tell you that. Solve will tell you that. Addict can tell you that. That's where we at, man. That's the type of time we on.
It's funny, man. I have one of my former clanmates grew up in Rockaway Beach.
Shout out to Rockaway.
He said the same thing. Like, he's like, hey, man, if it wasn't like all my friends in middle school, they were dealing. He's like, I was playing video games. That's what kept me out of trouble.
Facts kept me out.
He's like, he's like, they were, like getting into mischief and like just doing shit they weren't supposed to be doing. He's by video games, kept me out of trouble.
Yeah, saved my life. Saved my life. And then you see the stories. You see guys like Boom, and then shout out to Ainsley Bowden. I read his article, and as far as with his son and stuff, you hear these stories like all the time. And much as I'm a Destiny fan, another reason why is that like that community, the 4 million for St. Jude's and the giving back to the kids and cancer research, and one of their mottos is like, the good in gaming, or gaming does good. Like, nobody could tell me nothing about gaming. Like, I'm going to die on that sword. Like, so we got to unite and get all these little in beefs out the way, because we love this thing. All of us love it, regardless of tease, we joke, we love gaming, man.
That's I'm glad you said that, because he's asked me where in Rockaway Beach. I'm not sure, man, where he specifically where in Rockaway, but I'll say this, that's why I tell everyone, even if you have a different opinion, come to the live chat rap, because at the end of the day,
OBJ the jar, right on cue.
Yeah, cloud gaming is trash. Hey, that's my man. He lives close to me, man. He's in the DMV.
Yeah, I call him the cloud streaming dinner-non. That's the dinner-non right there.
Hey, he might be right, man. I don't know if you heard me get roasted on the last brap.
Yeah, they came for you.
They got me though.
They came for you, man.
Yeah. So
I saw. I was like, it's looking a little spooky. It's looking a little spooky for us right now.
Yeah.
But I got xCloud on deck.
But yeah, man, that's a thing, man, and I you kind of showed me that again, that at the end of the day, the commonality that we all have, the common bond is that we all are gamers, and there's too much identity politics in gaming, I think, in the gaming community. It's my frustration with what's going on politically in this country, not to get political, but hey, we're all part of the same country, we're all part of the same gaming community, and we got to remember that. Whether we do it on PlayStation, whether they do it on Xbox. Like, people ask me, are you an Xbox dude or a PlayStation dude? I'm like, nah, I'm a gamer.
Facts. There you
I
go.
play video games.
There you go. And the last point I'll make before you close out is just that, like, look, IOP, we'd love to support. And yeah, we're not the biggest. But one thing that I am proud of, I will say this on your show for the first time, I think I've never said this, is that I am proud of the fact that we have had either guests on our show that may never themselves do a podcast together, but they're willing to come into the realm as a safe haven, because they know what it's going to be. They know it's not, we're going to protect everybody, and everybody's going to say what they got to say, and we're going to be respectful. And that, to me, means more than anything. When people that normally would never rock with each other have either been guests or been on the show together, bro, I know we doing something. It's a movement. So that's what I'm most proud of, and that's why I said it always comes down to gaming. It's that common bond.
That's a great point. And you guys, man, like I said, man, I appreciate that you kind of bridged a lot of things, relationships with me or for me that I didn't have with certain people in the community.
And it's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It is, man.
And I smile when I see the interactions, and I'm like, yo, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. And that was funny. I'm like, yo, I was like, this is funny. I never agree with your opinion before, but that's fine. Like, now we joke around about it,
Exactly, man. And then it makes great discussion, because you'll bring that person on BRAP, because you know how they feel about something, to get that perspective, right? It's dope, man.
That's good, man. It's I think our differences are what makes us stronger as a community. I always say that to people, and people, I think that somewhere along the line it got lost that if you don't think like me, you're against me. And it's not the case. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, man.
So Cogito, again, man, thank you. I'm looking forward to ILP tomorrow, man. What do you guys have going on tomorrow,
it's gonna be lit tomorrow. King gonna be mad. King gonna be mad. But yeah, we got the Nintendo Guru. He's gonna be on tomorrow, man. Oh, this guy is fantastic. A lot of guys probably you've never heard of him, but this guy is fantastic in the community. He actually is a community manager for a studio as well. Doing games. So he's been doing it for a long time. Big time gamer, has a Nintendo Guru podcast. He also does a Nintendo and PlayStation podcast.
Nice.
This guy is really fantastic, super knowledgeable, great production value. We've been talking for a while. We're gonna have him on tomorrow. We're gonna have I give some preview of the topics. It's Bradford's family, so I give some preview. Definitely gonna be talking about what's going on with the Switch, the Joy-Con issues and stuff like that. We got to talk some Naughty Dog Crunch, that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about Phil Dominus, that statement. You know what I'm saying? I mean the interview.
The Phil at Google.
Oh man, the disrespect. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about these great games that came out, preferably Fire Emblem and Wolfenstein. So great topics. Check
Nintendo's
it
on
out.
fire, man.
Nintendo's on fire, man. We got the Guru in the building. Yo, you guys are gonna like the Guru, man. The Guru's a real dude, and his channel is growing, and he a lot of people don't know him, but he's on the rise, man. He's gonna be something out here. Trust me.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'll have to, I look forward to listening tomorrow then. By the way, OBJ Don says, slow mo, you're watching Lion King by yourself. That's too funny, man. Too funny. All right, man. Well, you guys go live 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Yes, 1 p.m. Iron Lord Podcast YouTube channel. Every Sunday is the Lord's Day. Be there.
Yeah. Please, guys, check them out if you haven't done so already. And everyone in the live chat, thank you again. And big shout out to the Ash and Luca. Luca, thank you. Thank you for stopping by again. And you definitely appreciate your input and thoughts on the crunch and other media bias and the other topics we talked about today. So please check out her podcast, the Scumcast. They go live, I think, at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, which is 5 p.m.
I catch her on the tail when I come out the gym because I get the gym. But when I come out, usually guys listening on the way back. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to the Scumcast. Had a lot of them on. I got to get the rest of the members on as well at some point too.
Yeah, I need to too. There's a couple guys I want to get on from Scumcast. I haven't yet. But yeah, man. Again, Cogito, thank you again. Everyone in the live chat, thanks for hanging out with us for quite some time. I've been involved for like 2.5 hours. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Barring any crazy news or anything. We'll be back live again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and then I got to figure out what to do with Google. You're killing me.
You're not copping day one.
No, I got to figure out what to do with because I think they're getting rid of Hangouts or YouTube. End of the month, right?
But from my understanding, again, I don't know if maybe you got new information than me. I heard that they're going, they're keeping, they're just basically using a replacement that's going to be on a business level. So from my understanding, the name is going, but there is going to be a replacement, but we shall see. Hopefully that's the case. So,
yeah, because I'd rather not have to use Discord.
I'm in the same boat.
And OBS. And I can stream OBS through YouTube. But then I got to figure out the whole Discord thing, and it's just it's just
extra steps that just for the ease of use of Hangouts. As much as Hangouts has its issues, the ease of use is there. So trust me, I'm with you there. I mean, I hope I don't have to go do it too. But King will be happy. He's been pushing me for that direction for the longest.
Oh, as you go. Big shout out to Graphic Guy, by the way. Jay, he's actually I was talking to him on DM. He said he'll be more than happy to kind of give me some pointers and OBS.
That's the man. That is the man. If there's anybody that I need to learn from OBS, go to Graphic Guard, salute, man. I would literally consider him, running something. Like he's that fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. I really appreciate him, offering the help. So, but on that note, everyone, please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy some time gaming, and we'll catch you guys next week again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to check out the Iron Lords podcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to check out Scumcast
Yes.
today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that note, we're out. Cogito, thank you
Peace.
again, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yep, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.